What's up, everybody? All right, sorry about dropping the stream and restarting it. YouTube's not letting me get into the dashboard, so I don't know what's going on. It's YouTube. Talk to us today at 800 or go to rocketmortgage.com to take advantage. Here's another great reason to work with us. For a record 9 years in a row, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction for primary mortgage origination. Again, to lock in today's low mortgage interest rate and get the security of our exclusive Rate Shield approval, call us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com. For J.D. Power more information, visit jdpower.com.
Another long day.
Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. License in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
All right, here we go.
The first step to the final phase. Industrial and commercial electrical done right. This is Casey Hendrickson on News Talk 95.3, Michiana's News Channel, your breaking news and weather station.
Good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's News Channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number 574-2595, 95.3. That is 2595-953. Before we go too much further, 95.3 MNC and Final Phase Electric are officially kicking off the countdown to the 2020 presidential election with the 4th annual noise, which will be happening on Saturday, November 2nd at Center 615 in Elkhart. And special guest this year, 95.3 MNC and Fox News host, best-selling author Brian Kilmeade. And by the way, he'll be on the show Thursday. And then townhall.com editor and Fox News contributor, best-selling author Katie Pavlich. General admission tickets are on sale now for just $40. That's it. $40 gets you into this event. Plus, you get Brian's brand new book about Sam Houston with your ticket, okay? There's a group rate available. If you have 10 or more people, you can save yourself 20% on those tickets. But again, right now, $40 each. That's all it takes to get into Noise. Tickets are available at 953mnc.com or at the 95.3 MNC studios at 237 West Edison Road in Mishawaka. That is all happening on Saturday, November 2nd, presented by Final Phase Electric and, of course, 95.3 MNC. All right. What do we have here? Phone number 574-2595, 95.3. That is 2595-953. You can also send a text message to 45364. Please put MNC at the beginning of that message. A state lawmaker testified Monday that, hold on, pop-up ads for crying out loud. The problem with the pop-up ads is that you close them and then they won't close. Because, of course, they've got to stick around until they're ready to actually close. And then I don't even want to pay for this stuff anyway. This is all about Curtis Hill. So we're giving you updates on what's happening with the Attorney General of the state and his case where they have made accusations against him for groping and that sort of stuff, which, again, he has vehemently denied. So state lawmaker testified Monday that she told a lobbyist that Indiana's Attorney General was a, quote, creeper soon after he allegedly drunkenly groped her at a bar, of which there doesn't appear to be any evidence. Again, I have great questions about why there isn't any surveillance of this, but I digress. Attorney General Curtis Hill looked on as Representative Mara Candelaria Reardon and 3 other women described what they called unwelcomed and inappropriate touching of their backs or buttocks and sexual comments during a party celebrating the end of the 2018 legislative session. Their testimony before a former state Supreme Court justice opened a professional misconduct hearing that could last up to a week and could lead to sanctions against Hill's law license, which, of course, jeopardizes his career as the Attorney General. Hill disputes the claims from Reardon and 3 legislative staffers, and his lawyers question whether his actions were misinterpreted. Reardon, a Democrat from Munster, testified that she encountered Hill soon after she arrived at the party at about 1 a.m. and that he leaned in close to as if to hear her, even though she wasn't saying anything to him. Reardon also said that Hill was holding a drink in his right hand and put his left hand on her shoulder, then slid his hand down her open back dress to clench his hand on her buttocks. A squeeze, a firm grasp, she said. Hill smelled of alcohol and had glassy eyes, she said. Now, I want to remind everybody that when this was first being presented to the public, she was the only accuser. And one of the things that was routinely going around was that why is it that we have no evidence, nobody else coming forward and saying that this happened? We only have a Democrat who is accusing the Attorney General, who many considered to be a rising star in the Indiana Republican Party. And it just seemed a little strange. And then all of a sudden, we started getting other people kind of coming forward. But it took a while for that to happen. I just said back off and left, she said, then running into a lobbyist who knew Hill. Your boy is a bleeping creeper, she allegedly told the lobbyist. Hill is a 58-year-old Republican who is expected to testify later in the week, has denied wrongdoing and resisted calls from Governor Eric Holcomb and other state government leaders for his resignation. Hill's attorneys argue that he didn't do anything improper as a lawyer and shouldn't face law license sanctions because he was cleared by a special prosecutor, which is true. His attorneys also discussed the frivolity of the party attended by perhaps 100 people where alcohol was flowing and there was loud music and conversation. Donald Lundberg, one of Hill's lawyers, said the allegations came amid cultural shifts over physical contact and what people regard as inappropriate. Now, obviously, if the accusation against the Attorney General that he grabbed somebody's actual butt, that has always been an issue going back some time. But if he had simply had his hand on their shoulder or their back or something like that, that could be something that would be an innocent sort of a thing that maybe with the Me Too movement and everything else, that's what the lawyer is referring to, could have been misinterpreted or exploited by political opponents as some kind of harassment. Okay. Reardon and one Republican, two Democratic legislative staffers, aged 23 to 26 at the time of the party, have filed a federal lawsuit against Hill alleging sexual harassment and defamation. A special prosecutor declined to file criminal charges against Hill, and a state inspector general's report determined Hill didn't break any state ethics rules. The three legislative staffers all testified that Hill appeared intoxicated and that they didn't know Hill personally when he approached them at the bar. You notice that they're suing him for defamation. I don't know that he is countersuing. I suppose that will come later if it gets to that point. Nikki Da Silva, a former Republican Senate aide, choked up at times while saying Hill told her she needed to show a little skin in order to get a drink, and later grabbed her waist behind her back. He pulled my hand and my arm down with his and touched my butt, Da Silva said. She also said that Hill smirked at her after letting go, after which she felt, quote, white-hot anger and embarrassment. Felt that was an interesting use of phraseology there. The staffers said that they didn't report the allegations to their bosses until 2 months later out of fear over Hill's top state government position and because they only gradually learned about each other's encounters with him. Democratic House staffer Samantha Lozano testified Hill told her that she was, quote, really hot before putting his arm around her waist and pulling her next to him. Gabrielle Brock, a Senate Democrat staff member, said that Hill sat down on a bar stool next to her and gave her a, quote, sexual back rub, lasting perhaps a couple of minutes before she could get away. Like I said, a question that I have about this, and I want to make it crystal clear. I have no idea if the Attorney General did any of this, okay? I don't. I do know that there is supposed to be more information coming out that would, I'm told, help his case, but I haven't been presented with the evidence of such things. But the question that I have is, we're not talking about a scenario in this bar where it would have been impossible for surveillance video to see this. We are talking about allegations of him sitting at the bar and rubbing people's backs for several minutes against their will while they're trying to escape. All of these things, which should be one of those things that would show up on cameras. And I'm sorry, I suppose it's possible. I just don't buy that a bar in the state's capital where the legislature is known to have parties wouldn't have surveillance of some kind. Okay. It seems very strange. So for me, I would like to see any kind of surveillance footage that would either confirm or exonerate the allegations. I would I would like to see that, but that has not been presented. And to my knowledge, nobody has even made mention of the possibility of any existence of such surveillance tapes, which seems very strange to me. Brock said that she regretted reporting Hill because it has been over a year and a half, and he hasn't faced any consequences. Recent disciplinary case filings by Hill include admissions that he drank 3 glasses of wine, a martini, and a shot of whiskey over several hours the night of the party. The filings say that Hill denies allegations of touching Reardon's buttocks and rubbing one staffer's back, but will testify he did not intentionally place his hand in the vicinity of another staffer's buttocks. Hill's lawyers also wrote that he interacted with dozens of other people during the party, and Hill has an engaging personality and often physically interacts with others by placing a hand on the other person's arm, shoulder, or back. Okay. Now, again, I want to make it crystal clear. If he's touched anybody's butt, he behaved inappropriately. I don't know if that actually happened or not. Juxtapose the way that Democrats and liberals and even some Republicans in the state of Indiana have behaved towards the attorney general here with these allegations versus how they have behaved with the video evidence of what Joe Biden has done. And again, I'm not accusing either man of breaking any laws or anything, but you can behave inappropriately without committing an illegal act, okay? And if you are going to excuse Joe Biden as just being an engaging, touchy-feely sort of guy, that's just Uncle Joe. Well, what if Curtis Hill has the same type of mannerisms? Wouldn't that be acceptable to the same people? But for some reason, it's not, which is interesting. And again, I really don't know what happened, okay? I'm not trying to exonerate the Attorney General. I'm not trying to convict the Attorney General. I'm simply looking at this as a case of why isn't there any evidence of this? And you can construe that one of two different ways. You can construe the lack of video evidence as protecting the Attorney General, or you can construe it as protecting the women's allegation against him. I don't know what the truth is. I just find it suspicious that there isn't any surveillance video of these alleged minutes-long encounters with several different people throughout the night. I also thought it was extremely strange that the Inspector General made known 0 eyewitness testimony accounts until after he was exonerated. And then all of a sudden, the Attorney General was furious and said they had all of these witness statements that the public had never heard about before. And I mean, I had alerts set up on this thing and everything. There was nothing that came through that had any witnesses on anything, which was initially one of the huge concerns. We got no surveillance video, but we also have absolutely no witnesses coming forward to corroborate the allegations. Well, then after he was exonerated, we ended up finding out in the independent inquiry, if you will, we ended up finding out the Inspector General allegedly has witness testimony. But then you had the Inspector General refusing to turn over the evidence that she gathered in her investigation of Hill, which is also suspicious. There's a whole bunch of weird things that are kind of going on here. So until we get to the bottom of this, I think we're going to have those questions, but that testimony is ongoing this week, so we'll have updates on that throughout the entire week. Just want you to be aware of that. Again, the Attorney General is expected to testify later this week and give his account of what happened as well. We have more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Casey Hendrickson.
News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Your breaking news and weather station.
Be right back. I got a delivery. 26 years of exceptional tremendous service and great people. This is the prime table today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Your home comfort experts, heating specialist 5-day forecast.
Another windy day with winds gusting around 30 to 40 miles per hour. Today will be warm by 60 degrees, and we'll hold on to cloud cover through the day with a chance of an isolated shower mainly north of US 30. For tonight, temperatures drop down to 38 degrees as clouds start to clear out. For Wednesday, a high of 58 with mostly sunny skies for majority of the day. And
50 bottles.
Clouds.
Got some 50 bottles. Some CBD. Who dilly dally. Alrighty. Yeah, like YouTube is on their website is not allowing me to get to any of the dashboards or anything, so I can't interact in the dashboard. I have to interact like a normal viewer would on the actual video page. So if I miss some stuff, I do apologize.
Well, and so comment, that's the thing that, with the back rub thing, the back rub lasted several minutes before she could, quote, finally get away. So was she struggling to get away? Did she push him away? Did she say no? There's a lot of questions that I have, okay? A lot of questions. I know people that have worked in close proximity to him that say this is totally not him. I have others who say it totally is him. I don't know. I just don't know. What I find is I find a lot of questions that need to be answered before we can make a determination on this thing. And that just doesn't appear to be happening.
When those giant scissors come out for a grand opening ceremony, it's the staff that's in the photo. Behind the scenes of any office or industrial build are numerous contractors tirelessly from drawing board for reality with precision, on schedule, and on.
My allergies are acting up, and I'm exhausted, and I was at the hospital for several hours this morning, so I'm just like, kind of over the day, folks. Kind of over the day.
Step in at any time to assess your project with a level of unmatched precision that throws guesswork out the window. We believe in positive results through positive people, and we're positive that we can help you with your commercial or industrial project. One call does it all.
Oy.
574-522-4444. That's 574.
But Brian Kilmeade will be on Thursday at 5 o'clock. And we're going to call him. So I'll get you his number. Don't sell it to anybody.
Your home is more than just four walls and a roof. It's where your family feels safest, where your children will grow up, and where memories are made. Unfortunately, accidents can happen. When they do...
Yeah. Did you see that Al Green said that we have to impeach Trump for equating the lynching thing? And so Al Green's like, well, we must impeach him for talking about the Russia thing as being a lynching.
We all know we need to be insured, but just buying a plan online doesn't always work out when it comes time to make the claim. Take a few minutes and talk to our friends at Mishawaka Family Insurance. Even if you're already...
It's not a problem, Mom. I'm just tired. That's all. I'm sure you're way more tired than I am.
Protect your home and family with insurance from Mishawaka Family.
Yeah, my allergies today. I ran out of allergy medicine about 3 days ago, and they're really bad right now. So my eyes are burning, and I've got pressure in my head. It's not a cold, though.
And now,
You can breathe just fine. It's just everything's irritated.
Sweat the bed. Do you ever wake up feeling like you've been sleeping or slip and slide? Sweating the bed is a serious but a common problem that affects your sleep, health, and happiness. Plus,
Well, people forget Italians were lynched. They forget that the Irish were lynched. They forget that the Chinese in particular were lynched, especially out west. People forget this stuff because it's not taught. You know, the narrative is that only one group of people were lynched in this country, when in fact, if you have a basic elementary history of the United States, you understand that lynching was a very common thing that was done to everybody. So nobody wants to talk about those things. Again, facts be damned. Oh, by the way, I got to get you this link. Hold on a second. I posted Amy Swearing, I think is her name, and her brilliant, Amy Swearer, brilliant breakdown of assault weapon lies in Congress. Holy smokes. I know you've heard it all before, and I've said most of it before as well, but she just does a really good job delivering it. There you go. There's the link. What's up, Rhonda? 45 more sessions, his Jag will be paid off, huh? That's funny. That is funny. Yep, lynching was a common punishment. I mean, that's why all of the old westerns had lynchings in it, for crying out loud. By the way, Sean Haas has that event today, and he's going to be at the Indiana Whiskey Company today, where you can go ahead and
have a little chat with him. So if you are interested in learning more or possibly even supporting his campaign, go check that out at the Indiana Whiskey Company. If you go to his Facebook page, he's got it set up as an event. I also shared it on my page on Facebook, and you should be able to get it there. All right, here we go.
Vice for MSM.
Good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number 574-25-95-95.3. That is 2595-953. You can also send a text message to 45364. Please put MNC at the beginning of that message. All right, so a couple of text messages floating through here. Let's see. You left out the best part. She called him boy. I mean, look, again, I'm a cynic. Okay. I am a cynic. And so when somebody is talking about a black man and they happen to not be black themselves and they said that they were burning with white hot anger, I'm not going to lie. I took pause there and looked for context, okay? I'm not going to lie. Just because I've been doing this job for too long, and unfortunately, that's just where a lot of this stuff goes. Casey, you're fixated on security cameras and forgetting that this is Indiana. We just don't have cameras everywhere like other places do. I find that difficult to believe in a bar in the Capitol that is known to have the legislature go to the bar. Because now, again, you could say, all right, you could say, and I've had a couple of people point this out, maybe one of the reasons they go to this particular bar is because there isn't any surveillance cameras. And they're lawmakers and they don't want any evidence or what have you. I suppose that is theoretically possible. But the notion that, you know, a bar that is frequented by state legislatures doesn't have some kind of security just seems weird to me, okay? I suppose you could theoretically be right that they don't have any cameras here, but boy, I drive around Elkhart and I drive around South Bend and I drive around Mishawaka, and even the smallest podunk neighborhood bars, sorry, that's my old Vegas person coming out, but neighborhood bars have security cameras. So yeah, forgive me if I'm a little skeptical of that, but you theoretically could be right. They may not have a surveillance system in there. That's totally possible. Casey, I'm a child of the 80s, and even then, it was and is impermissible to touch somebody on the back below the shoulder unless they gave you permission. That's a new one. When I grew up, it was always okay to touch somebody on their back. Now, again, that is something that maybe is a societal difference from where I'm from versus where you are from and where we grew up. That's entirely thing. But where I grew up, touching somebody on the back was commonplace. Anything below the waist was something that you needed to have permission for. But as far as the back and all the way up to the shoulders and things like that, it was generally considered acceptable public touching. There were whole books written about how to make friends and get people comfortable with you. And guess what? Touching is a part of that. In fact, there is a case happening right now where a shy young man read a book on how to make friends. And of course, one of the recommendations in there is to touch. Well, guess what? He's now facing criminal charges and things like that for inappropriate touching, for following what was considered a guide on how to connect with people with this book. So, but again, everybody's raised a little bit differently, and different segments of our society and locales with geography, different things are permissible. We are obviously much more in a Bible Belt sort of environment here, so it's entirely possible that things that were acceptable where I grew up would not be acceptable here, and vice versa. So I'm willing to acknowledge that. But generally speaking, in a business setting, as long as you were touching somebody above the waist, you were okay. Obviously, avoiding the frontal area of both men and women. But generally speaking, on the back, as long as it was above the waist, was considered acceptable and or okay, unless somebody verbalized no. Then at that point, you were supposed to stop. All right, 574-25-95-95.3. That is 2595-953. But as far as the bar in the state's capital which is not a podunk. Indiana's not podunk. There are rural areas that are a little bit less what you would call advanced or whatever than other areas, but in the state capitol, right across from the Capitol building, I find it very difficult to believe that there isn't any surveillance cameras there. And I don't think that the argument that it's just Indiana and they wouldn't have cameras, I don't think that holds any water. We got more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
This is Michiana's breaking news. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel at 95.3mnc.com.
Well, that's just it. I've never heard of the. May I touch your back? I've never heard of that. Never, ever, ever, ever heard of that. I think this person is probably not a fan of the Attorney General, and maybe potentially they're just raised totally different than most people would generally be raised. But which is nothing wrong with that. Just letting people know.
Vaccination is the best defense against the flu, and CDC guidelines recommend a vaccine each year for everyone over the age of 6 months. You can learn more at statehealth.in.gov.
That's 95.3 MNC's Tommy Lee reporting. We've got a 95.3 MNC consumer alert. The Consumer Product Safety Commission is recalling 3,100 Blackhawk gun holsters due to an injury hazard. The CPSC says the design of the Blackhawk T-Series L2C holster can change the positioning of the safety, which could lead to the gun firing if the trigger is unexpectedly pulled. The holster was designed to be used with the Sig Sauer P320 and P250 civilian firearms that clip onto the user's belt. You can find pictures of the holster and more information within the story at 953mnc.com. And you may have noticed
Somebody said that she posted on my Facebook page, I heard about your update on Osceola Dragway. I had never heard about you prior to that, and now I have to love you. Don't you know who I am? It is shocking when I run into people who've never heard of me. Okay, it's shocking, but hey, at least they're in the audience. I do appreciate that. That's funny.
That's 95.3 MNC's Heather Starr reporting. You can find a full list of safety tips within the story at 953mnc.com. MNC News Time is 3:30.
I'm Rich Dennison. The 5-day ceasefire in northern Syria is over, and Kurdish leaders say they withdraw.
What is happening here?
U.S. troops pulled from Syria are in Iraq, but may not be staying long.
After Iraq's military said troops got permission from the Iraqi Kurdish regional government to enter the country, only to be transferred out later.
Fox's Rachel Sutherland in Washington. Turkish President Erdogan says his troops and Russian forces will now patrol northern Syria, and Kurdish forces have just under a week to pull back.
And Ron is going to start wearing the sweatshirt. Yeah, bud.
President Trump's tweet today describing the impeachment investigation as a lynching. Republican Senator Lindsey Graham defending the president.
Oh, Mom, I'm going to go to Costco after work, so I'm not going to come home right away, just so you know. I don't know how long it's going to take me. I'm hoping not too long. I forgot to tell you guys that before I left. Yeah, my 77 John, my sinuses are, like I said, nothing is stuffed up. It's just that there's a lot of pressure. They're itchy. My eyes burn. That's how I know it's allergies. Typically, is my eyes burn. So it is awful.
For tonight, clouds start to clear out. We'll have a low of 38, and then for Wednesday, a high of 58 degrees. Mostly sunny skies starting to turn partly cloudy. And the ABC.
I'm going to probably play Amy's testimony to Congress today. It was that good.
Turnaround Tuesday was a struggle for corn and wheat. This is the Hoosier Ag Today closing farm market update. Soybeans worked quietly higher on positive Chinese trade talk from their vice foreign minister. But even then, not a real impressive gain at the end for the bean market. December corn did squeak out a 3/4 cent higher close, $3.88. March, $4 even, up a half cent. Up 3/4, Novi beans, $9.34. January, $9.48. And a quarter, up a penny and a half. And December wheat down a nickel and a half at $5.18. Livestock flat in the cattle market. December 113.70 down 17. But December lean hogs 65.50 down 2.
Have you noticed that?
Brought to you by IOM Grain.
more and more stories about the situation with the Attorney General that it's not, the bar's name is not listed. It was in a couple of articles early on, but now it's just a downtown Indianapolis bar. Have you noticed that? Go through the articles, folks. It just says during a party at a bar or Indianapolis bar or something of that nature. There isn't a lot of information about what the bar name actually is. It's out there, but it's kind of interesting that the articles now don't mention the bar. And I wonder why that is.
Sales of its gaming products like Monopoly grew during the quarter, but revenue from its franchise brands like My Little Pony and Play-Doh products fell, and its Nerf brand also continued to struggle. And Pizza Hut is testing out Kellogg's new line of plant-based protein, Incognito. The pizza chain will serve a new vegetable pizza top with Incognito's newest Italian sausage at one location in Phoenix. The test will last for a limited time only, and Pizza Hut will also be selling the pie in a new round pizza box, which it's also testing at the Phoenix location. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Hillary Barsky.
Go back in time here and see if I can get the name of that thing.
How can a fully stocked restroom improve your image? How can
AJ's Lounge.
first aid cabinet make your employees more prepared? How can comfortable work apparel make your business more productive? For over 1 million customers,
AJ's
Cintas delivers everything
Lounge.
to open your doors with confidence. Because helping keep businesses well equipped, clean, and looking their best, that's our business. Oh, I'm ready! Get Cintas and get ready for the workday.
Of all the questions you get asked every day, this is one you shouldn't ignore. How much money in your 401k or IRA is actually yours? Not what its current value is, but how much of it will end up in your pockets. Not the government.
AJ's Lounge has really good
And how about the tax
Yelp reviews.
Are you overpaying or are you
All right, so I'm on Yelp looking at AJ's Lounge. I'm going to look at all the pictures of the roof. See if I can find cameras somewhere.
That's why at Howard Bailey, we work with tax professionals to help make sure you
I mean, it's possible they don't have cameras, but I don't know. It seems a little strange to me.
to know what's at stake, and you have the power to ensure your retirement accounts are paying you. Don't do the IRS any favors. Call our team at Howard Bailey today at 866-482-9559.
God, people take terrible pictures. What the hell?
Howard Bailey Financial does not offer legal or tax advice. Please consult the appropriate professional regarding your individual circumstances.
Start your next project today and save with 11% off everything now at Menards, including a great selection of Hunter ceiling fans. Keep your rooms comfortable and well lit using Hunter ceiling fans with energy-efficient LEDs. They're available in a wide variety of styles and finishes. Save 11% on Hunter ceiling fans and more. Sale prices are good through Saturday, October 26th. Savings are a mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for
Well,
details.
I guess I'm just going to have to send them an official media request on whether or not they have surveillance cameras.
The leaves are changing and dropping, and prices are always low. At R&B Car Company, voted Michiana's #1 independent volume dealer. Come see why we are where you ought to be. No matter your need, with over 600 vehicles to choose from and fast and friendly service, you'll love driving. So drop the rake. Those leaves will be there when you get back. Shop now and get pre-approved at rbcarcompany.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find
The premier mature lounge in Indy
but then all you can do
is
hope
how they
the
tout
right person
themselves.
comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job in ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter. The smartest way to hire. And now you can try ZipRecruiter.
They don't allow you to send them
That's
messages
right,
on
free
Facebook.
At ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
That's interesting.
ZipRecruiter.com/free.
No messages, huh?
From the first step to the final phase, industrial and commercial electrical done right. This is Casey Hendrickson.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number 574-25-95-95.3. That is 2595-953. You can also send a text message to 45364. Please put MNC at the beginning of that message. So I'm looking at, real quick, then we're going to move on. I promise I'm not going to spend a bunch of time on this, but this is basically satisfying my own curiosity here. So have you noticed that if you read through the past year or so, 6 months, okay, let's just say 6 months. You can get back to a year and you kind of start finding it. That everywhere that writes about the attorney general and the accusations against him doesn't say the name of the bar that it happened. Have you noticed that? Now, if you go back about a year or so, you end up finding out that it was a place called AJ's Lounge in downtown Indianapolis. Again, podunk downtown Indianapolis, not a modern city at all that hosted the Super Bowl. So AJ's Lounge is the place that this allegedly happened. And very good reviews online, both on Facebook, on Yelp, on Google. People seem to really enjoy the place. They call themselves, quote, the premier mature lounge in Indy. I have looked at a couple of pictures that people took, and I'll be honest, I don't see any security cameras in some of the pictures. What I'm going to do is I'm going to reach out to them and see if they actually have any surveillance cameras, because I'm just dying to know what in the world is happening with this, because it just seems like there would be a camera in there, but it's entirely possible they don't have any. Okay, and if I get an answer from them, then I will have my answer and I can stop yarping about it. But until then, I am just going to continue with the tinfoil stuff and try and figure out what in the heck is going on here. Anyway, 574-25-95-95.3. I do think it's very interesting that the name of the restaurant, or the bar, I should say, is left out of nearly every single article written in the past 6 to 9 months. But whether that's a conspiracy theory or just some weird random happenstance, I don't know. But the name of the place was AJ's Lounge. Anyway, 574-25-95-95.3. That is 2595-953. You can also send a text message to 45364. Please put MNC at the beginning of that message. The Supreme Court had a decision on gerrymandering in Michigan. Now, I've been telling you, there's a lot of people who lie about gerrymandering, and typically what you find out about gerrymandering depends on who's in power. So if Republicans are in power, they love it. If Democrats are in power, they love it. If Republicans are not in power, they hate it. And if Democrats are not in power, they hate it. Okay? But gerrymandering can be a very, very, very good thing. Now, it can be done in a way that violates the rules, obviously. And generally speaking, gerrymandering makes things more fair, not less fair. Okay? Generally speaking, there are exceptions to that rule. But generally speaking, if you want to be more competitive, you do not make districts easier for you to win if you already have a large majority in that district, okay? The idea is to take some from districts that you're real strong in and add them to districts that are competitive or that you are consistently losing in to make them more competitive. Gerrymandering, typically, most of the time, when it is done within the confines of the rules, makes elections more competitive, not less. But the argument against them is the party that's in power is using them to keep the party that's out of power out of power. And sometimes it does happen, okay? But this has been the accusations by the Democrats in Michigan. President Trump and Michigan Republicans were just handed a huge victory by the Supreme Court in a case involving redrawn congressional districts. The U.S. Supreme Court on Monday threw out a challenge to Republican-drawn electoral districts in Michigan that Democrats said were illegally configured to dilute their voting power, an action taken in the aftermath of major rulings by the justices in June prohibiting federal courts from hearing such claims. The Supreme Court's action voided an order in April by a 3-judge panel to rework 34 districts in the state legislature and U.S. House of Representatives whose boundaries were crafted purely to advantage Republicans, a practice known as partisan gerrymandering. And again, generally speaking, gerrymandering makes things more competitive. However, it can be abused, it can violate the rules, and it can be used in certain circumstances to provide an unfair benefit to one party or the other. Like I said, whoever's out of power, whichever party is out of power tends to complain about it. For those who pay very close attention to elections and politics and the rules, generally speaking, what we will say is if you don't like gerrymandering and you don't like the party that's in power redrawing districts, guess what you need to do? Show up and vote. Because elections have consequences. And for a long time, Democrats were in power in Michigan. And guess what they did? They redrew districts. Go figure. Now that Republicans are in power and they redraw districts, the Democrats are having a hissy fit. Whereas it used to be the Republicans having a hissy fit. The justices had put the panel's decision on hold before they issued their rulings in the 2 major gerrymandering cases from Maryland and North Carolina. In a blow to election reformers, the justices found that federal courts have no role to play in reining in electoral map manipulation by politicians aimed at entrenching one party in power. Now, the reason for that, and this is kind of what I told you would likely happen, the reason for that is the federal government doesn't get to tell a state how the state elects its officials. We're a republic. That's how it works. Now, for federal offices, things get a little bit different. Well, Congress is a federal office, Casey. Nope. That's not how it works. The Supreme Court on October 7th threw out a similar case from Ohio in which a lower court had invalidated 16 Republican-drawn U.S. House districts that Democrats had said were drawn to unlawfully diminish their political clout. And again, if you have a very heavy Democrat district that the Democrats always win, okay, but Republicans win elections, Republicans have the legislature, and it is time to redraw those districts, which again only happen at certain periods of time. Then the Republicans go ahead and redraw those districts, and all of a sudden, that district that was heavily Democrat is now more competitive. Democrats will pitch a fit because that's no longer an easy district for them, and Republicans can compete in that district. But the idea is, now you've got to go out and earn the votes. It actually makes elections more competitive. So, again, this is a routine thing. It has been a complaint since the very beginning and founding of the country. However, generally speaking, gerrymandering makes things more fair, and they force one party or the other to be more competitive in a district they traditionally had not had any competition in, which ultimately benefits the voter because now the voter, and it increases participation, by the way. If you have a district that is 80% one party, and you know that the election is going to come up and it's a given that that one particular party is going to win that thing, then a lot of people won't bother showing up. But if you make it competitive, now maybe it's 60-40. You got some wiggle room there. There's a chance to possibly win the district by the other party now, which in turn tends to get more people out to vote, which of course improves voter participation, which you may think is a good or a bad thing. It all depends on your opinion on it. But generally speaking, gerrymandering is a positive thing to the country. Not always. It can be abused, but generally speaking, the federal courts, basically the Supreme Court has said, we don't have any role to play in how an independent republic decides how their electoral districts are drawn. That is not a place for the federal government to tell a state to do. That is entirely up to the state, and elections have consequences. If you don't like it, don't vote for that party in the future. We got more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
We're on the Weather Watch.
Casey Hendrickson.
E-cig works coming out of the brain.
Your breaking news and weather.
Okie dokie. God, my eyes are on fire.
Meet regularly for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Just call the Prime Table to reserve tables for your next gathering.
Now, your home comfort experts, heating specialists, 5-day forecast.
Another windy day with winds gusting around 30 to 40 miles per hour. Temperatures today only warming up to 54 degrees. And we'll hold on to cloud cover through the day with a chance of an isolated shower mainly north of US 30. For tonight, temperatures drop down to 38 degrees as clouds start to clear out. For Wednesday, a high of 58.
I grew up in Chicago in the 70s and 80s. The rule was don't touch nobody. Like I said, just depends on where you're from, I guess. Because where I'm from, touching above the waist was acceptable for men and women. So, which I said. All right, AJ's Lounge. I don't think that they actually have a website. They don't. They only have a Facebook page. So AJ's Lounge only has a Facebook page, but they don't allow you to send messages to them on Facebook. Interesting. What if I like them as my page? Can I send them a message then? See if it unlocks a feature. Nope. Nope. You have to give them a call, I guess. Yeah, ready. I'm done looking at that. I'm bored.
I can pay cash and close in as little as 7 days. I buy houses in any condition, any price range, and in any location. I am not a realtor or associated with any realty company. I'm a private real estate investor who buys several houses a month and want to buy even more. Call me at 574-294-5678. I buy inherited houses.
That's interesting, Alex.
Huh. Even buy my tenant will pay me the rent houses. Do you own a house that is trash and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, because I love buying damaged houses too. I buy vacant houses, abandoned houses, condemned houses, and foreclosure houses. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at 574-294-5678 for a cash offer today. That's 574-294-5678.
Finding candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver,
They might have B-dubs. You know, maybe they used to have messages and now they shut them off because they were getting a ton of them. It's possible. Entirely possible. I can always give them a call.
ZipRecruiter.
We'll see.
The smartest way to hire. And now you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. At ZipRecruiter.com/.
I said, I know people, Kenny, that say the same thing as you, and I know people who say the exact opposite. So I honestly don't know. I don't know. He's never been inappropriate anywhere in my vicinity, but again, if he were in my vicinity, I would expect him to be on his best behavior. So that doesn't necessarily mean that it's impossible for him to do any of these sorts of things. There is also the possibility that, you know, he was intoxicated and he behaved a little bit out of the norm. It's also possible that these ladies were intoxicated, David all admitted to drinking, and that perhaps there is some fuzziness there as well. So who knows? I mean, honestly, who knows?
Now the state of Indiana wants to honor our vets. The new Next Level Veterans website provides job opportunities, job training, and the Honor Our Vets Homebuyer program, specifically designed to keep and welcome qualified active duty, veterans, and retired military personnel to the Hoosier State. Indiana, where job opportunity and affordable home ownership meet.
Go to in.gov/veterans. Sponsored by the Indiana Housing and Community Development Authority and aired by this station.
Local stories, updated all the time on 953mnc.com. From News Talk 95.3 Michiana's News. Breaking news and weather.
Sorry.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. VIP tickets to 95.3 MNC's Noise are sold out. VIP tickets are sold out. I have to emphasize this again. VIP tickets are sold out. General admission tickets you can still buy at 953mnc.com. But if you were hoping to get your hands on some VIP tickets, even though they're sold out, we do have one more pair that we are giving away. To enter for a chance to win, text VIP right now to 45364. Message and data rates apply. If you win, you can meet Fox News and MNC Tacos Brian Kilmeade and townhall.com editor and political analyst Katie Pavlich. That's at the Noise, which is happening Saturday, November 2nd at Center 615 in Elkhart. Sponsored by Southwest Vision Center, the best place to get your eyes checked. In fact, the wife was telling me today, I got to schedule our dry eye appointments. And again, 95.3 MNC. So, general admission tickets are still for sale. Okay, though we're getting pretty close. You want to act quick. And then VIP tickets are sold out, but we are giving away one last pair. So to qualify to win that one last pair of VIP tickets, text VIP right now to 45364. Best of luck to everybody entering to win. All right, I've got a couple of transgender stories for you. We have actually I've got three. I posted one on Facebook. I don't know if I'll have time to get to it. A transgender female has dominated the Masters Track Cycling World Championships and is complaining about how unfair it would be if they were excluded from the races. Transgender cyclist Rachel McKinnon won a gold medal and set a women's world record in qualifying at the 2019 Masters Track Cycling World Championships on Saturday in England. McKinnon is a professor of philosophy at the College of Charleston. Won the gold medal in the women's 35 to 39 sprint category. And the BBC reported that McKinnon is a biological male, also set a women's world record during the qualifying round. She represented Canada in the event, but in an interview with McKinnon, they told Sky News that even though they have an apparent advantage over some of the other female competitors, it would be unfair to exclude them from competing. So, if we want to say that I believe you're a woman for all of society, except for this massive central part that is sport, then that's not fair, McKinnon insisted. McKinnon also pointed out that despite their advantage, they do lose at times. Says, I've thought about giving up, yada, yada, yada. And then kind of drew the equation. In March, McKinnon said that the exclusion of transgender women from women's sports was comparable to excluding black women from women's sports. Not really, but okay. That's their opinion. So be it. Earlier today on Facebook at facebook.com/Casey the host, I posted another story where there's a transgender woman who was offered an adult film role. They're a transgender model, and they're outraged after the adult film company retracted their offer to the transgender model upon learning that the model had male anatomy. And then in the interview with the transgender model, they said, and I quote, retracting this adult film offer simply because they still had male anatomy was, it's like calling someone who's black the N-word, unquote. Again, it's not. I don't know why they keep trying to pretend that is the case, but like you're going to lose potential allies by running around and pretending that you're as oppressed as blacks were during slavery. It's not going to happen. Then we have transgender activists have forced a menstrual products brand, Always with wings, to remove the woman symbol from their packaging because it is offensive. I don't know a lot about transitioning. When you transition, do you get periods? Is that something that happens if you transition from male to female? I don't know. I genuinely have no idea. But they have now forced them to take away the female symbol off of their product packaging because it is exclusionary. So, all right. That's the latest on those. We got more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
WTR.
News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Your top stories right now.
Behind closed doors on Capitol Hill, Lisa Brady, Fox News. The acting U.S. ambassador to Ukraine, Bill Taylor, is the latest impeachment witness. Sources tell Fox News he's telling lawmakers there were two channels for policymaking on Ukraine, one regular, one irregular. But he has no direct evidence Ukrainian officials knew aid had been suspended when Ukraine's president had his July phone call with President Trump. Meantime, the president likening the impeachment process to a lynching in a tweet that touched off a firestorm.
Blistering criticism from Illinois Democratic Congressman Bobby Rush, who supports impeaching the president. He tweeted, "You think this impeachment is a lynching? What the hell is wrong with you? Do you know how many people who look like me have been lynched since the inception of this country by people who look like you?"
Fox's John Roberts at the White House. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell calling it a poor choice of words. South Carolina Republican Senator Lindsey Graham says it's about the conduct, not the words.
This is mob rule. That's what lynching's all about. Once you grab somebody, you don't hear their side of the story. You destroy them.
Republican Congressman Adam Kinzinger says the president should retract his statement. New charges in the college admissions cheating scandal targeting parents already charged, including actress Lori Loughlin. Fox's Bernal Scott has this live.
At least 11 parents now face an additional charge of conspiracy to commit federal program bribery, which means they paid off university officials to get their kids into college. The group includes Loughlin and her husband, designer Massimo Giannulli, who prosecutors say tried to buy their daughter's way into the University of Southern California. And they've pleaded not guilty to mail and wire fraud. The new charge carries a maximum of 5 years in prison, 3 years supervised probation, and a $250,000 fines.
Ooh, a whole lot of people trying to win some VIPs.
This is Michiana's breaking news and weather station. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel, and 95.3 MNC.com.
MNC News Time is 4:02. I'm Brooklyn Beatty in the MNC News Center with our top local stories this afternoon. The LaPorte County Sheriff's Office is still looking for a suspect after a high-speed
Yeah, you had to uncensor that. That's funny.
County Road 200 north in LaPorte. There were 2 people inside the suspect vehicle who both fled on foot, and one was captured. Anyone with information is asked to call police. And South Bend's Common Council is set to meet tomorrow afternoon to discuss the ongoing litigation regarding the South Bend police station.
I'm not even going to talk about that case, Alex. I thought about it. I thought about talking about the dad who lost custody of his kid. But I was so irritated reading it that I actually didn't want to devote the energy to talk about it, to be honest with you. Maybe later in the week I can find myself to do it, but I have a 7-year-old at home. I guarantee you no 7-year-old has any damn idea about any of this. It's absolutely ridiculous to assume that is the case. And then to lose custody over your kid over it. Both of your kids, actually. Unacceptable.
It's not something we're doing as a hobby. It's literally our livelihood. And we've got a lot on the line planning into it.
Weaver tells ABC 57 News that his crop is all below the 0.3 THC level, which, as he puts it, means you could smoke the whole field and still remain completely sober. In one case, Weaver himself chased 2 thieves through multiple counties before police
Could smoke the entire field of hemp and stay sober.
How much THC is in him? Were they talking about the plants being stolen?
Yeah.
Okay.
But still, if you smoke that much.
Now, in his defense, you'll probably pass out and or die before you got to the point that it intoxicated you.
That's fair.
But yes, theoretically, if you could consume the entire field of hemp, you probably, yeah. It's like if you had, 100 O'Douls, you could probably get a little buzz going because it's non-alcoholic, but it still has alcohol in it. Know what I mean? Was that the story of the dumb kids who stole all the hemp plants? Yeah. Idiots. Not that I would know the difference. If I were walking around, that looks like a pot plant. I'd probably steal somebody's fern for crying out loud.
More than just flexing land, it represents a commitment, time, a special anniversary, or the welcoming of a new family member. And let's not forget the items from previous generations.
Ooh, somebody said Larry on my Facebook page in responding to a comment about the new person who just learned about me because of the Osceola Dragway segment. He's better than Fox News. Listen often. Well. I'm better than Fox News, Joe.
Uh-huh.
Better recognize. Respect my authority. Although, being better than Fox News now, does that say a lot about Fox News lately? Good question. For the record, Mueller's campaign has still not even responded to my request for interview. Not even we respectfully declined. Nothing. Just totally ignored my request. So they're not the only ones. I got that a lot in Elkhart, and then they ran around and pretended that I didn't invite anybody out to Casey Does Elkhart. It was all a lie.
Good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number 574-2595, 95.3. That is 2595-953. I've had multiple women and a couple of men whose opinion really doesn't matter. Multiple women tell me that when you transition from a biological male to a woman, you cannot have menstrual cycles. Because apparently, like, you still don't have all of the parts and everything, which I just find flabbergasting. If you transition, you should have everything, right? That's the whole point of transitioning. Anyway, 574-2595-953. Do want to thank our sponsor, Second Amendment Arms and Range. Today's Tuesday, which means tomorrow's Wednesday, and kids shoot for free at Second Amendment Arms and Range with a shooting parent on Wednesdays. Go to secondamendmentarms.net for more information. Republican candidate for mayor in South Bend, Sean Haas, is saying some interesting things about the budget. Of course, I have told you that the 2020 city budget is some very interesting things in it and some interesting things that are not in it, by the way. James Mueller has not responded to an interview request. I don't even have a polite declination, but they have received an interview request because I occasionally, what do you have Democrats on? Look, to be fair, everybody knows where I stand, okay? And most Democrats don't want to come on the show. All right, that's fine. Most Republicans don't want to come on the show. That's something else you have to factor in. Now, some of you do, and I know I've been doing other interview requests and things like that. Yes, I know. Okay, I know. We're going to try and get you guys your interview requests in here before the end of the week. Maybe early next week. I know that some of you have been asking to get on the show for some time. We're working on it. We've got to make sure we get the offers out to you and to everybody else. We also got to make sure that Brian Kilmeade and Katie Pavlich and other candidates and things like that are all squared away before I start offering up all of my time slots. Okay, so I haven't forgot about you. It's coming. All right, just relax. But Sean Haas, he also has he's calling it a speakeasy tonight, I think. Let me pull this up. Hold on. Speakeasy with Sean Haas, which is going to be at the Indiana Whiskey Company. That is tonight. I posted that event on my Facebook page. Sean's got it on his Facebook page as well. So if you're interested in learning more about him, you can go to the Indiana Whiskey Company tonight, where he has an event this evening. And again, all those details are on his Facebook page. I did post it on mine. So if you go to facebook.com/Casey the host, it'll be there for you if you are interested. So anyway, South Bend Tribune. Republican mayoral candidate Sean Haas said that any budget put forth by his administration would prioritize public safety, infrastructure, and education. And the recently passed 2020 city budget fails in all three categories. Haas said at a press conference on Monday at the Republican headquarters. Haas said that the city has an $11 million budget deficit. Which, by the way, do you remember what the budget deficit was just before they passed this particular budget, Joe? Remember what it was? $2 million. Possibly 3. Keeps getting worse. As I've said, look, I'm going to give Mueller a heads up here. if he ever does come on the show, and I've been saying this for months, if James Mueller comes on the show, one of the questions I'm going to ask is, what's your feelings towards Buttigieg leaving and abandoning you and kind of putting you in this position, knowing you're going to have to clean up his mess because the budget is a disaster at this point in time. So Haas said that the city has an $11 million budget deficit and that some of that wasteful spending is centered on the mayor's office. He said the Mayor Pete Buttigieg's budget calls for a 2% increase in infrastructure spending. In contrast, other city offices will see their budgets increase by up to 40%, Haas said. He also noted that the budget includes a $19,000 raise for the mayor's chief of staff. Of course, Mayor Buttigieg is known for giving people who haven't been on the job for very long huge, substantial pay raises, which is a terrible move for somebody who's not been on the job for very long and may not have experience in that field. But also, when you're facing a budget shortfall, you probably shouldn't be handing out significant pay raises like they're candy at Halloween. When elected, I will redirect money from these unnecessary expenditures to focus on our city's essential services, he said. Mueller, Haas's Democratic opponent, said that there were 13 public meetings held during the process leading up to last week's vote. I did not see him there when he had a chance to speak, Mueller said. Mueller added that the city does not have a deficit in its operating budget, noting that Haas is likely referring to the capital expenditure budget. Indeed, City Controller Dan Parker said the $11 million, while technically a deficit, accounts for one-time capital spend downs. The city has a AA bond rating, which is very good for a city of our size, Mueller said. He added that wealthier cities typically have a AA rating and that the city has a balanced budget. Of course, there's funny math when you get into some of that stuff. But again, so they're talking about buy downs and that sort of thing. Budget also includes $500,000 in new spending for grants for small businesses, including small-scale manufacturing. $200,000 to develop comprehensive plans for West Side neighborhoods, increasing spending on curbs and sidewalks, and spending $400,000 on traffic calming measures such as speed bumps. The speed bump thing is something that I've researched quite a bit, and it's always amazing how the governments tend to spend too much money on speed bumps when they can get them for a fraction of the cost. But it's always interesting how they do that. And they do that everywhere, by the way. It's just one of those things that governments do. Roland, welcome to the program. Good afternoon.
Actually hit on what I was going to talk about. I was actually at the budget meeting a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
And they did discuss the buy downs because they want to keep 25% of the budgeted amount for that department as cash on hand.
Okay.
To keep their AA bond rating, they're supposed to keep 12.5%, so they keep double. So they actually have more, but this is what struck me as crazy. The garbage pickup is coming up short like $30,000 or $50,000, something like that. They're buying down these other accounts for 11.2, but talking about raising the price of garbage pickup instead of just covering the costs of the buy down. The other thing that irked me is that, remember Pete invited 30,000 refugees to come here and they were going to take care of them?
Correct.
We have 100 consistent homeless in South Bend, and they were sitting there. They couldn't come up with a solution for that, but they're inviting 30,000 other people to come here that they're going to take full control of. And black people need to listen because they're telling you flat out in this statement that you don't amount to crap, but somebody else who's out there who doesn't even belong here has got more. They're going to give them more than they're going to give you because they already know they got your votes.
Okay, go
ahead. I'm
going to say, remember the NAACP attacked Sean Haas for saying that there was no institutional racism on the South Bend Police Department. And the NAACP of South Bend said there was institutionalized racism in South Bend. They expanded it beyond the department. And then Mueller agreed with them. And, of course, Democrats have been in control for the past century.
Exactly. Well, there is institutionalized racism for the homeless people that they can't come up with a solution for, but have a solution for the illegal people that are here. Yeah. One last quick thing, too, is that they put up $360,000, which is 0.1% of the budget for anti-violence things. And it was funny to see all the black groups jump up and they all started fighting. And I'm sitting there going, they took a penny. If you took the budget of the city and it was $1, they took a penny and then took 10 snips to it and cut it into 10 pieces and then threw it at the people for anti-violence and made it seem like they're doing them a favor. It was just ridiculous to see. I mean,
well, I mean,
that's all I wanted to add.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Roland, appreciate the call. Thank you much.
Talk to you later, brother.
You too, man. And here's, again, a lot of these groups don't exist to actually fix problems. They exist to have a career path. So they as long as their salaries are paid, they're okay. And I have to look into obviously those specific groups and what they're getting. But yeah, so the trash thing is interesting. I got to look at the trash thing because if there's a shortfall of the trash of like $30,000, but you have all of this extra money that you're doing for buy downs because you're buying down more than you actually are required to have to keep your AA rating, then why wouldn't you just take the extra money that you have that is beyond what is necessary to keep your AA bond rating and then just go ahead and cover the shortfall in the garbage instead of telling the citizens of South Bend that they've got to pay more for garbage? That's an interesting point. Although, again, we're talking about government, so it is what it is. We got more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Casey Hendrickson.
News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
I
26 years of exceptional food, tremendous service, and great people. Visit Prime Table today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner.
Now, your home comfort experts, heating specialists, 5-day forecast.
Another windy day with winds gusting around 30 to 40 miles per hour. Temperatures today only warming up to 54 degrees, and we'll hold on to cloud cover through the day with a chance of an isolated shower mainly north of US 30. For tonight, temperatures drop down to 38 degrees as clouds start to clear out. For Wednesday, a high of 58 with mostly sunny skies for majority of the day and just a couple passing clouds. Thursday, though, we're back down to 52 as another cool front passes through the area, bringing a chance for a shower or two and still mostly cloudy skies. And then for Friday, a high near 50, still a chance for maybe a shower. And we'll have mostly cloudy skies to partly cloudy conditions at times. Thinking over the weekend, though, we start to brighten back up with plenty of sunshine. In the ABC 57 First Warning Neighborhood Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Emily Kennedy.
95.3 MNC and Final Phase Electric, officially kicking off the countdown to the 2020 presidential election. With the 4th annual noise. Saturday, November 2nd at Center 615 in Elkhart.
No, Susie, it didn't go great today. She didn't get the thing put in. She got some additional medication and things like that taken care of, but no, not great. Not great.
So we have the Easter work ourselves earlier, and then in this break it's Michiana Family,
okay,
and Provocative.
Okay.
I don't know why they're in this.
All right, we'll just do them over the next several breaks. Do I have anything in that last half hour of the show? Can you see that far ahead?
I can open up the log and look.
Custom remodeling, first response disaster restoration specialists, fast signs, and Mojo events.
And News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel, your breaking news and weather station.
You like shopping online for everything, even your next vehicle. But you also want to buy from people that you know and trust. And buying a car from a vending machine is cool, but what happens when you want to test drive the car first? And what happens if you have a question you want a live, local expert to answer? The solution is Lock Monday Fast Track from the Lock Monday Auto Group. Lock Monday Fast Track takes you from shopping to driving 100% online and at your convenience. You view over 700 new and used vehicles, can apply for financing and instant approval, see your loan terms and monthly payment, trade in your current vehicle, and secure your deposit. Then,
sorry, handling messages here.
To your home or office. When you want to test drive the car first? No problem. Schedule test drive at any time. We're happy to help in person at any point. The Fast Track is only at lockmoney.com. Shop new Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, GMC, Buick, Chevy, and Ford models. Plus all makes and models of pre-owned vehicles for every budget. Over 700 vehicles. Get on the Fast Track to your next vehicle at Lock Money.
Hey, Roland, I'm going to reach out to Sean about your comment here, okay?
Hi, this is Dwayne Miller with Good Faith Management, and I buy houses cash. If you own a house and want to sell it fast and for a fair price, call me at 574-294-5678. I can pay cash and close in as little as 7 days. I buy houses in any condition, any price range, and in any location.
Okay.
I am not a realtor or associated with any realty company. I'm a private real estate investor who buys several houses a month and I want to buy even more.
Okay, so I'm just going to run through every break here with something, okay?
That's fine.
Because I'm trying to get them out of that last half hour if it's possible.
I even buy my
I
tenant
have the
pay me
list
the
here.
rent.
All right.
Do you own a house that
So
is
I've
trashed
got
and needs
the
thousands
e-cig
of
coming
dollars
up now.
in repairs? Great, because
So
I
you'll
love
take
buying
care of
damaged
e-cig.
houses
Yep.
too. I
Me and
buy
Michiana
vacant
family
houses,
tobacco twice.
abandoned houses, condemned houses, and foreclosure houses. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at 574-294-5678 for a cash offer today. That's 574-294-5678.
I'm Dave Miller, and I'm running for mayor of Elkhart. I have been an Elkhart resident since I was 13 years old. I love this city. I raised my family here. My neighbors are my friends. I started 2 businesses here. Elkhart is home. I know how to get things done in Elkhart. Let's keep moving forward. I'm Dave Miller, and I want to be your mayor. Please vote for me.
Paid for by the committee to elect Dave Miller.
How to make your pumpkins last through Halloween. Some tips Wednesday morning.
All right, I sent Sean a message, Roland.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I'm going to tell you about natural CBD lotion. This is a phenomenal product. It has worked for both myself and my wife. My mom's even used it for some of the pain that she's been dealing with, and it has worked great. In fact, they just dropped off 50 bottles of this stuff. I'm going to be selling this at Noise for those who come by the booth. But natural CBD lotion is good stuff. Now, here's the thing. If you compare CBD lotions and oils that you can get at a drugstore, natural CBD lotion is going to be full spectrum CBD, not isolate. Full spectrum is what you want. That is the superior kind. It is all naturally occurring, okay? It will be in a larger bottle. It will be in a larger strength, and it will be a fraction of the price of what you run into at your everyday drugstore, okay? So you can get 120 milliliter 4-ounce bottle in either 250 or 500 milligrams of CBD. Again, this is THC free. It is grown, harvested, produced, tested in the United States of America. And this is a veteran-owned company. allnaturalcbd.org. I've already been getting a lot of listeners who have been using it, who either picked it up online or got it at a local e-cigworks where you can use my coupon code as well, and they have been telling me positive things. It's worked for us. Again, minor aches and pains. If you go to the gym, you work out a body part particularly hard, put some of this on there to help prevent some of that soreness. And again, allnaturalcbd.org. Use coupon code KC10. You can also pick up natural CBD lotion at any local e-cigworks. Somebody was talking to us yesterday. They called and they asked if it could help with sleep. There are research studies that show CBD can help you if you have difficulties sleeping. But if you go to allnaturalcbd.org, they've got bath bombs, they've got CBD gummies, and new CBD sleep gummies. So those are all things that they have on their website right now. Again, allnaturalcbd.org. Use coupon code KC10. I think that just works for the lotion, though, but it's a phenomenal product, and I certainly hope that you'll give them a shot. Anyway, 574-25-95-95-3. That is 2595953. You can also send a text message to 45364. Please put MNC at the beginning of that message. Speaking of the South Bend Common Council and local government, the Common Council will discuss the police tapes tomorrow. Now, remember, the Common Council is now considering dropping their case on the police tapes, which the mayor has been keeping secret from everybody. Now, this is obviously problematic for a lot of people in the city. And one of the things that they're going to do is they're going to try and get Karen DePape to come in and confirm what are on documents that the Young Turks have put out in the public. We had the allegations of what Karen DePape said were on the tapes going back years. What has now happened is we have actual paperwork with the alleged statements on them. Okay, so they said that we don't have to pursue the case against these tapes, which has cost the city more than $2 million in legal fees. That doesn't include the settlements that have been paid out to the officers, to Chief Boykins, to Karen DePape, and to the former councilman Henry Davis Jr. is running again, by the way, but it doesn't include all of those settlements, too, involved in the case, but just $2 million in legal fees. So they're saying that if they can get Karen DePape to come in and confirm what the documents allege she said about what she heard on the tapes, then they can drop this case, and then they'll have it on public record. South Bend's Common Council is set to meet on Wednesday afternoon to discuss the ongoing litigation. And again, they are hoping that if she comes in, she talks about this, confirms or denies what's on there, then they can put this whole thing to rest. They don't have to worry about spending any more money on it. Let's see. Councilmember John Vorty says that the case has already cost the council more than $2 million in legal fees. Says he doesn't want to spend any more taxpayer money on the case. The council sued the mayor's office in 2012 to get access to the recordings made of phone conversations at the police department. Again, I would like to point out that the district court, which is based out of Chicago, had already ruled that police departments have full authority to do this. The police department manual says you have no expectation of privacy on any of the lines in the department. The officers who are part of this case have said that their battle to keep the tape secret is because there are citizens on those particular phone calls and wanted to protect their privacy. Not about the officer's privacy, but about the citizens' privacy. So if Karen DePape comes in and says, yes, this officer said this officer said that officer said that, then hopefully we can put this whole thing to bed. We don't have to worry about it. Several officers joined the suit in an attempt to keep the tapes from being released, again, in spite of the fact that the courts have said they can be released. At least many of them can be released, not all of them. The tapes allegedly have officers making racist remarks targeting former police chief Daryl Boykins. Again, that's allegedly. We don't have any confirmation of that. Some of those officers have run for higher office. I don't know about the rest of you, but considering the issues of race that are happening in the city of South Bend right now, if I were a citizen of South Bend, particularly in the black community, I would want to know if one of those individuals who ran for sheriff as a Democrat is guilty of some of the things that Karen DePape has said. I would want to know if that accusation was true or not. Wouldn't you? That's just my 2 cents. Now, as a pasty white guy who lives in Elkhart, I'm still darn curious about it. But if I were a resident of South Bend who's going to be voting, in fact, actually St. Joseph County, because he ran for St. Joseph County Sheriff, I would be very interested in whether or not the allegations against he and fellow officers are accurate, because I don't know if they're accurate. Like I've told you before, I don't know if Karen DePape is one of those people who hyperinflates things as being racist when they're not. Okay, I don't know. There are numerous other rumors about what are on the tapes that have nothing to do with racism or criminal activity, but alleged to have embarrassing things that would be embarrassing to certain individuals should the public know about it. And again, I don't know the accuracy of those allegations. But here's what happens when you don't release something that you have the power to release. You leave it open for speculation, and then the rumor mill gets going. And then when the rumor mill gets going, people start adding to it. It becomes a whole brouhaha. And we've got a bunch of allegations about what are on the tapes that, honestly, none of us have any idea at all if they're true. But because we don't have the tapes, and we don't specifically have transcripts, even if we don't have the tapes, and we don't have the one witness who heard all of the tapes being able to tell us what's going on, we're just left to the devices of our own imagination, which can obviously get away from us and can do all sorts of horrible things. So if this ends up happening, I think it's going to be very important to listen to what Karen DePape has to say. If what Karen DePape has to say lines up with what is on these documents as being accurate, then I think we're going to have a lot of the answers that we have been looking for since 2012 and before. If Karen DePape comes in and says the stuff that you've heard that I've said are on the tapes in these documents are not accurate, they have to continue to pursue the case, because now the so-called documents that are out there could be forgeries, they could be false, and now you could be smearing people, which of course opens up a whole host of other lawsuits that are happening. You know, if these documents that the Young Turks put out there end up not being accurate, and then these officers are, of course, being slandered here, then they would have to obviously sue the Young Turks, and then the Young Turks would have to go after who gave them the documents. It's a fiasco at this point in time, and it's cost us a whole lot of money. We've obviously heard that the city is at least in a tight financial position, depending on whether or not you want to count the buy downs or not. You know, it's up to millions of dollars with budget shortfalls and things of that nature, or deficits, I should say, not budget shortfalls, but deficits. But again, we're spending a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of energy on this. There's no doubt that there are some secrets that are on these tapes that I think people don't want to hear. The question is, are they illegal? Are they fireable? Or are they just embarrassing to certain individuals in the community? And that's what we have to get to the bottom of, because Karen DePape has made some very serious allegations. And if she is telling the truth, then we have to know about that so we can go ahead and clean house. That's the whole point of having this information, to make sure that people who should not be entrusted with the public trust aren't. And since we don't have that information, everybody is, again, rumor mills are flying. I've heard probably 20 different rumors or what are on there, including many that would be embarrassing to the mayor, who's obviously running for president. I have no idea if any of those are true. Okay, no clue. And we're not going to know until Karen DePape spills the beans and or the tapes are released. Now, of course, if Karen DePape comes out there and says a bunch of stuff and the people who did hear the tapes go, no, none of that's true, they may want the tapes released to go ahead and rebuff what she said. So we'll see what happens, but they will be discussing this tomorrow, and then we'll have updates for you hopefully tomorrow on the program. We got more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
This is Michiana's breaking news and weather.
Excuse me.
Polio-like syndrome called acute flaccid myelitis, or AFM, is very rare. Since the first reports from California in 2012, the U.S. has experienced an increasingly bigger outbreak every other year, from last summer into fall. Doctors have a chief suspect, but proof that it's the culprit germ has been elusive. So researchers tried a new trick, checking patients' spinal fluid for signs of an invading virus. They got the proof they were looking for. They're hoping to turn that information into a way to prevent or treat the illness.
Yeah, Susie, I'll get that to you, okay? Give me just a couple of minutes. All right, I sent it, Susie. Ooh, Alex. Okay, I'm going to hop on a Discord. Hold on now. Hold on. Now, the real question is, was that camera installed before or after the alleged incident? Just throwing it out there. Doink, 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 doink. Ah, that looks like a camera. Sure looks like a camera. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's a dummy camera? I got to feed the tin foil anyway, so I got to post it on my page.
specialist first warning forecast.
Another windy day ahead of us with mostly cloudy skies and a chance of an isolated shower. The daytime high only topping out at 54. For tonight, clouds start to clear out. We'll have a low of 38. And then for Wednesday, a high of 58 degrees.
All right, post it on Facebook, Alex. Thank you, bud.
Partly cloudy. And the ABC 57 First Warning Neighborhood Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Ellie Kennedy.
Oh, Lamar posted it too. Okay. Sorry, Lamar. I didn't see that. Okay, so I got to credit Lamar. Mm-hmm. It's all about them shenanigans. See, this is why I love the Horde so much. I don't have time to go look for something. Y'all go grab it. What's up, Blue? How you doing? Oh, flu and bronchitis. That sucks. I don't want to talk about it too publicly, Blue. She's doing okay, but it's not getting better. So they're trying some new stuff, but I don't want to get into great details about it. That's for her to tell people, not me. Under Armour struggling under competition. I got 44 people watching and 24 likes. If you could, if you're watching on YouTube, if you are one of the 20 people that hasn't hit that like button yet, if you could please hit that thumbs up button, that would be much appreciated. It really does help with the algorithms. If YouTube is limiting my exposure, the more likes that I get, the more comments on the actual video that I get, then it can overcome the algorithm somewhat and get my videos in front of more people. So if you could, that would be absolutely fantastic. So again, if you're on YouTube, please click that thumbs up button. And while you're there, go ahead and click on the bell icon. If you don't see the bell icon, click the well, no, never mind. It should be there. I already have my own subscription to myself. So click the bell icon to go ahead and get notified when we upload new videos or we go live. Yeah, that's true, Paul. That's very true. If she waited a long time to go and report it, then they may not have the footage there. But again, you would think that that would be something that would at least come up in all of this, where, okay, she waited until it was too late to get any actual evidence of what happened, because I think that's important. Oh, that was posted on July 21st, 2017. That's what happens when you're trying to do stuff on the fly.
Summer sale, 50% to 80% off spring, summer, and more. Now through September 7th at LaPorte, Granger, and Valparaiso.
Prescription products require an online physician consultation and are only available if the physician determines a prescription is appropriate. Subscription required. See website for full details and important safety information.
Hey guys, good news. The outrageously expensive little blue pill is now generic, which means you can get the prescription medication to treat ED at affordable prices. And Hims
I have to go back and I have to look at when she, because remember, she told Republicans early, before she told Republican leadership, before she wrote the article in the newspaper, So she may have, because she wrote something in the Indianapolis Star. That was the first time the public heard about it. But she had, months prior, had told leadership in the legislature. And they had been looking into it. So now comes the question, did she tell them quick enough to get that video? Did the Republican leadership ask for the video? Were they able to get the video? What was the archiving? There was a lot of really good questions that have to be answered here. But thank you so much for the find.
Right. This is Casey Hendrickson.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. Newstalk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number 574-25-95-95.3. That is 2595-953. Got some good fall weather today, and in a couple of months, we're going to have some snow. I know you don't want to hear that, but here's the deal. You got to get prepared. You got to get your vehicles prepared. That means making sure that they are ready to go for the winter months, and part of that could be getting the undercarriage taken care of with rust protection. I have had a vehicle that snapped in half because the previous owners did not take care of the chassis, and it rusted through and it broke on us. And now we have a car payment that I wasn't planning on having. Don't do that to yourself. Make sure you get the undercarriage treated before the winter months get here and prevent that salt and the water and everything else that causes your vehicle to rust. Make sure you protect your vehicle from that and protect your investments so you don't have a vehicle that snaps in half like mine did. Again, go to Z-Bart of South Bend, get this done, and you should get this done every year, okay? Now, the first time you get it done, it's going to be a full application, and if you go every single year, it's a quick little touch-up. It's much cheaper, much quicker to get it done when you do it that way, and your vehicle is always protected. So you maintain your vehicle's value, you protect your investment, and you keep your vehicle from rusting out. Go to Z-Bart of South Bend, and of course, let them know that I sent you. They are located at 2627 South Main Street in, of course, South Bend, Indiana. Hence the name Z-Bart of South Bend. All right. Democrat and chairman of the House Intelligence Committee, Adam Schiff, Democrat of California, narrowly survived an effort to censure him over a parody, air quote parody. He wasn't saying it as parody. He simply covered his backside by pretending it was parody after he got caught fabricating a lie. A parody speech that he gave at the opening of the House investigation into whether President Donald Trump sought information on former Vice President Joe Biden from Ukrainian officials. The vote, which unsurprisingly went along party lines, tabled the censure resolution, saving Schiff from having to face questions over why he gave a speech implying a quid pro quo agreement between Trump and Ukrainian leaders, when official transcripts of the president's discussions with Ukrainian President Zelensky show no such arrangement. And in addition to those transcripts, President Zelensky says nothing like that happened, and the foreign minister said nothing like that happened, and several other top Ukrainian officials said none of that ever happened. But Adam Schiff said it did, and I played the audio for you. Adam Schiff did not say it was a parody. He did not insinuate it was a parody. It didn't seem like a parody. He was reading that like a quote. And he was telling a lie. Of course, it's Adam Schiff. He is known for telling lies. He is not known as an honest man. The vote was 218 to 185 to table the resolution, according to Fox, with all Republicans voting against tabling the resolution and all Democrats voting for tabling the resolution. Independent Michigan Representative Justin Amash voted with Democrats. So Representative Amash, who was previously a libertarian, all of a sudden doesn't believe that somebody who stands up on the floor of Congress and tells a bald-faced lie, that they should not face questions as to why they told that bald-faced lie. They didn't tell everybody it was a parody. He lied to everybody. We played it for you. So I guess now if you're in Michigan, the big question is, and I know that his district is slightly outside of the official listening area, but I know that many of you listen from his district via the stream or the podcast. If Representative Amash is your representative, I think you need to be asking him why he's not at all interested. I know he hates Trump. Okay, I get it. Trump has done damage to the Amash family business, which makes tools and things like that in China. I get that. But your disdain of the president is not something that should cause you to sacrifice your integrity. And you have a representative in Congress who chairs this committee who stood up on the floor of Congress and lied to the world. He made it up. And only after he was called out for fabricating this lie did he pretend that it was just a parody. It wasn't a parody. You were lying to everybody. And if you're in Representative Amash's district, the phone call should be, why are you unconcerned with any member of Congress standing up on the floor of Congress and lying to the American people? Whether you like Trump, don't like Trump, doesn't really matter. Adam Schiff lied, period, end of story, and we have all of the evidence in the world to prove it. Why would you not want to censure him and then have him answer questions as to why he chose to lie to the American people? Now, of course, Representative Amash wants Trump impeached, and it is now crystal clear that Representative Amash, who is a once honorable man, has now sacrificed his integrity for the pure vengeful spite that he has against the president's economic policies on China, which are affecting Representative Amash's family business. That is what this is all about. And he has sacrificed his integrity in order to try and take down the president at all costs, including siding with people who are breaking laws and lying to people on the floor of Congress. And that is ultimately extremely and very sad. We have more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Casey Hendrickson.
News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
And of course, Representative Amash has accused the president of breaking the law without any evidence. And we have more evidence that Adam Schiff broke the law, and Representative Amash doesn't want to hold him accountable.
Now, your home comfort experts, heating specialists, 5-day forecast.
Another windy day with winds gusting around 30 to 40 miles per hour.
Okay. Michiana Family Insurance next, right?
Yes.
Of an isolated shower,
And the two Pravacos.
For tonight, temperature drop down to 38 degrees as clouds start to clear out.
Maybe I'll do Pravaco now.
58 with mostly sunny skies for majority today and just a couple passing clouds. Thursday, though, we're back.
Today is Tuesday. Half off wood fire paces.
Bringing a chance for a shower or two and still mostly cloudy skies. And then for Friday, high near 50. Still a chance for maybe a shower. We'll have mostly cloudy skies to partly cloudy conditions at that time.
Over the weekend,
brighten back up with plenty of sunshine. In the ABC 57 first quarter,
This is ABC 57 meteorologist Tom Coombs. Rain or shine, your first warning neighborhood.
I have made this energy drink, which I usually pound in like 5 to 10 minutes. I have made it last since 1 o'clock.
It's gonna be like disgustingly warm.
It's not warm. It's like just below room temp. It's still cool, believe it or not. It's an impressive can, but it's not warm. It's starting to get a little flat, though.
Why do we carry the lines of furniture we carry? I believe in the quality. I believe that it's a value. When you're purchasing something that is of good quality, it can literally last you as long as you want to own it. The styling is typically a little more classic, so it's not going to be trendy and something you can live with and pass down. And like, for example, Stickley, made in America, all solid wood. For the Mission collection, they use solid quarter sawn white oak or solid cherry. In the Modern collection, that's all solid cherry product. Their upholstery is all maple frame, glued, screwed, double doweled, 8-way hand tied. They use the finest cushion material, fabrics. I mean, it literally will last you a lifetime. Come in, look at what we have, see what we have to offer, and we would love the opportunity to show you what we can do.
Fall sale, saving from 35 to 70% off floor models. Stickley, 40% off stock and special orders.
We've all been there before. Equipment malfunction can wreck your plans and shut down your office or facility. Let's be blunt, you don't have time for downtime. You need the confidence that comes with a commitment to excellence, found at Final Phase Electric. Let us help you from the start. Upgrade or repair your current electrical systems, or get ahead of the game with a professional assessment that grows into a full-scale preventive maintenance schedule.
Weird.
Using advanced tools like thermal imaging cameras can help us identify issues that haven't even.
Oh, Susie, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
24-hour emergency service. Ask yourself, has my business grown
All right.
beyond our current resources?
Thank you for the prayers, Blue, and prayers to you too. My doc kept trying to determine that my lung issues were due to vape, then told me to use a vaporizer and Vicks to get better. Really? Your doctor is trying to tell you it was the vaping? Did you tell them that you don't vape illegal THC black market drugs? Unless, of course, you do. Oh, my gosh.
Finding great candidates to hire can be.
I mean, it goes to show you that doctors can be as misinformed about crap, too. I mean, then again, I just ran into a list of dozens of doctors that got paid over $1 million a year by pharmaceutical companies to peddle certain drugs. So maybe your doctor gets a nice little kickback from pharmaceutical smoking cessation companies. I don't know.
To apply to your job, you get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter. The smartest way to hire. And now you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. At ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Uh-huh.
Did you know that's also your number for expert plumbing service? BW Cook Service Experts is standing by to fix all your plumbing problems. Right now, get a free plumbing service call at $99 value. BW Cook Service Experts.
Regarding the police tapes, I am sure the wording of the conversations are not politically correct. I am sure that all parties involved have said things in private text conversations that they would not want public. At this point, if these words are just embarrassing and not criminal, drop the whole thing. But we don't know if they're just embarrassing or criminal until we find out what's on the damn tapes. That's the point. That is the point.
In-home colorectal cancer screening test for those who qualify. That's right.
Casey, hasn't Mark McGill interviewed Mayor Pete numerous times? Yes. Mark McGill doesn't challenge Mayor Pete.
Help us start a movement. Share your stool with Goshen Health.
Your top news, traffic, and weather during Michiana's morning news. First thing.
Nice smooth voices, please. That is funny. Okay. Good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's News Channel. I remember one thing. I turned on the live stream to the proper microphone. I just didn't turn my microphone on. Today's Tuesday, right? You know what that means at Perbaco in Elkhart? That means today is half off wood-fired pizzas. That's right. If you go to Perbaco on County Road 16 in Elkhart, today their wood-fired pizzas are 50% off. Of course, if you go to Perbaco's, make sure you let them know that I sent you. It's important that my listeners let my advertisers know that I'm sending them business. And Perbaco's is an Italian restaurant that does not shy away from large portion family style foods. Nothing wrong with other foods that require smaller portions and things of that nature, but sometimes you just want a whole bunch of food and you want to eat it family style, and you want to bring the family and be able to enjoy it all together in traditional Italian family style dining settings. And that's what Bruno's Perbaco in Elkhart does for you. Now, if you go to their website, which is brunosperbaco.com, and again, they're on County Road 16, you'll be able to take a look at their menu, look at their advertisements. I was going to say advertisers, and I meant to say appetizers. My apologies. It's been a long day. You will be able to go ahead and set up reservations and all of that. Some people were telling me that sometimes they can be really tough to get into, and if they accept reservations, they're asking me if they accept reservations online. They do. Again, the website is brunosperbaco.com. If you look up in the top menu there on the center right, it says reservations and catering. You can go ahead and click on that, and you can get set up with your reservations, book a table for you and your family. Of course, it's just a great place to go and hang out at the bar as well. Phenomenal service, great atmosphere over there at Perbaco's. And if you ever see me and the family out there, please don't hesitate to say hello. Okay, that's what I'm there for. They're obviously a sponsor. All that I ask is if I'm with my family, don't engage me in a long political conversation. Just say hello, and we can have pleasantries and all of that stuff. But
I'm still there with my family, just like you would be there with yours. So again, today, Tuesday, Perbacco's Big Plate Italian Food, where size does matter, half off wood-fired pizza. And again, Perbacco on County Road 16 in Elkhart. Let them know that I sent you. 574-25-95-95-3. That is 25-95-953. By the way, their Google and their Facebook ratings are near perfect. Did you see that? Perbacco's, if you look at their Google ratings and their Facebook ratings, they are near perfect 5 stars. Can I pick them or what? I'm telling you. I only endorse the best, folks. Just throwing it out there. Just trying to help y'all enjoy your meal. Anyway, 574-25-95-95-3. That is 25-95-953. You can also send a text message to 45364. Please put MNC at the beginning of that message. Let's swing over from South Bend to Elkhart. Elkhart also has some big races. So does Mishawaka, but obviously the big mayoral races are happening in South Bend and Elkhart. And so let's take a look at the fundraising efforts. As you all know, we tend to work on the fundraising apparatus. I like to tell you where the money is. Now, again, money is an indicator of advantage, but it is not the only thing that matters. We have seen campaigns that did not raise nearly as much win, and we have also seen cases where money clearly won a race. So that's why I follow the money, to kind of give you a barometer of how people feel. Generally speaking, political donations and the ability to raise money are ways that you can tell if the electorate in that particular area are invested in those candidates. And that's why it's important to kind of take a look at these things in order to determine, who actually has the advantage here. So in Elkhart, Republican candidate for Elkhart Mayor Dave Miller, who's the former mayor of Elkhart, also raised 41% more money than Democrat Rod Roberson from April 13th through October 11th. That's a big advantage. All right, big advantage. According to campaign finance reports, Miller raised $124,595 in that time, increasing his total for the year to $135,705. Roberson raised $88,136 in the same time period, raising his total $124,020 for the year. Now, again, if you look at the year, they're really, really close. Miller's barely edging out Roberson. But if you look at the period of April 13th to October 11th, again, Miller has raised 41% more than Roberson. Obviously, Roberson, hopped in, had a lot of financial backing early on. Miller's campaign manager said that the Republicans' experience for running for mayor twice in the past is part of the reason that he has been successful. It obviously shows that the community already believed in him enough to elect him twice, Fink said. The projects that we have going on throughout town now are very comparable to the things that he had accomplished, or at least started, while he was in office previously. So I think that a lot of that plays into it as well. Now, I wasn't around for any... I don't even know if I was around when Miller was last in office. I've only been here 8 years. But a lot of people that I've talked to in Elkhart have credited him with starting what is happening in downtown Elkhart now. Okay, I wasn't around. I don't know. I'm just telling what people have told me. Roberson also has a pretty extensive background in government here as well, so he can obviously draw from that to win voters over. Both mayoral campaigns relied on large contributions. Miller received $10,000 from Rex Martin, David Weaver, William Weed, and Tom and Nancy Curtis. Roberson received $30,000 from Art Desio. Hope I got that correct. $15,000 from Rex Martin and $10,000 from Charlie Habick. Unlike Miller, Roberson went through a contested primary where he both outraised and outspent the Republicans. So, again, Miller didn't have to worry about that. And a lot of, if you look at just, again, the April to October, Miller has outraised Roberson significantly by over 41%. So, it'll be interesting. Again, it's not an end-all, be-all, but it is a good indicator of how things are going with the campaigns and their financial well-being. Got more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
WTRC-FM and HD1, Niles, South Bend, Elkhart.
Oi. All right, so Michiana Family Insurance. Anything after that? Just another Perbacco? Okay. Oh gosh, my eyes are on fire. Okay, hour 3. Mm-hmm.
It's the kangaroo court. It's the shame. It's not the word. It's the conduct.
Democratic Senator and presidential hopeful Kamala Harris says the president is invoking torture to whitewash his own corruption. A renewed debate in Washington over Syria.
We don't even know what's going to happen next. Trump administration can't say what the plan is.
I like Bangs 2 speeds. Bangs are good. I've been drinking Bangs since before people even knew what they were, because they used to be just a supplement because they have creatine in them. And now they're just considered an energy drink, even though they have the same formulation. But Bang is good. The black cherry vanilla is good Bang. That's good stuff.
Michiana's news channel. Would you like to talk to Casey? Oh, okay. Yeah, I will. All right. All right. We'll do. Robertson, not Roberson. Robertson.
Whatever. Robertson. Hard to pronounce both ways. I'm just saying. Sorry,
No,
sorry, I hurt somebody's butt.
What we should do is invite him on and ask him how his night's going.
You know what? You know what?
And then he'll do what Pete Buttigieg did and be like,
and then lie to me.
Either way,
yeah,
it doesn't matter.
You know what? He should have answered the requests to interview him before. He should have showed up at the event that I invited him to and he had committed to, and then backed out the day of. Then maybe I would have known all this time.
And there's no value to it. If you don't have a license and you don't have COAs to go with that product, there's no way to monetize it.
Yeah, I got to talk about this. I talk about this congresswoman having affairs with her staffers, man. All right, Joe. Let me ask you. No, you know what? I'm going to ask you a question on the air. I'm going to ask you on the air. I'm not going to ask you now.
Okay.
On the air. Forget I said anything. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Your home comfort experts, heating specialists, first warning forecast.
Why is this break?
I don't know. Is that a normal break?
I don't know. This doesn't seem like a normal break. Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Construction season means slowdowns and road closures. Get traffic and weather every 10 minutes on the 6s. Weekday mornings on 95 MSM, your breaking news and weather station.
The news this hour is brought to you by Perbaca, big plate Italian food where size does matter. Tuesday is half off wood-fired pizzas. Perbaca on County Road 16 in Elkhart.
Hi, Hi, I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans, America's largest mortgage lender. Let's talk credit card debt.
Ugh.
If you feel you're carrying
Dude,
too much of
my
it,
friggin' eyeballs.
the average
God.
household in the U.S.
It hurts so bad.
$1,000 in credit card debt.
In other news, The Expanse is coming back soon.
Yes.
So that's awesome. This will be the first season that is, it's a Netflix property instead of a sci-fi property.
Is with our 30-year fixed rate mortgage. The rate today on our 30-year fixed rate
And The Expanse is amazing, by the way.
APR 4.08%. Call us today at 800-QUICKEN to learn how taking cash out with a 30-year fixed mortgage might be the right solution for you. And for a record 9 years in a row, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction for primary.
Homeowners are trying to solve the erosion issue in St. Joseph.
For J.D. Power mortgage information, visit jdpower.com. Rate subject to change. A 1.25% fee to receive this discounted rate. Call for cost of equal housing lender. License in all 50 states.
Newsflash, if you buy property upon bodies of water that have crashing waves, you will have erosion. How that works. It's a thing. Just
Michiana family.
It's a thing. Good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Today's Tuesday, which means tomorrow, kids shoot free over at Second Amendment Arms and Range with a shooting parent, of course. You can't have your 8-year-olds just waltzing on in there with their AKs and being able to go ahead and fire without mom or dad being there. But they can shoot for free if mom and dad choose to improve their shooting abilities over at Second Amendment Arms and Range. Did you hear about that guy who pulled out the AK? And are they talking about it right now?
They
just talk about it?
They just talked about it on ABC 57.
That's funny. So my first response was I want to post this with a funny comment, but then I can't do that because then I get, people who don't have a sense of humor will be like, okay, so you got to read the story. I'm like, I know what the story says, but I really wanted to post the comment and go, because the story is, if you haven't heard, somebody locally pulled out an AK. Pulled out an AK and threatened another vehicle that cut in front of him at the McDonald's drive-thru. So I was going to post it and be like, well, don't cut. Because let's be honest, if you cut in front of somebody, drawing your gun and threatening them is a perfectly reasonable response. They cut in line, especially at McDonald's during lunchtime.
Yeah.
Lunchtime or after midnight, you don't mess with somebody's food, okay? You just don't. Now, of course, what ended up happening is, McDonald's has those 2 lanes. Well, he was waiting in the long lane. There's a short lane. Somebody pulled into the short lane, and he got butthurt about it and said that they were cutting in front of him, and they were not cutting in front of him. So he's been arrested. But again, if you ask me, if you are out there and you're cutting in front of people at a fast food line, drawing your gun and threatening them is a perfectly acceptable and reasonable response. All right, but that's an amazing story. So anyway, just figured I would talk about that when we had the situation there with the kids shooting free tomorrow over at Second Amendment Arms and Range. I know that I'm probably going to get a phone call. Like, please don't equate us with people drawing AK-47s at fast food places. Sorry, I appreciate your concern, and I will try to not do it again, at least for another couple of weeks before I do it again. Have you heard of Congresswoman Katie Hill, Joe?
Katie Hill.
Congresswoman Katie Hill. She's not from here. She's a congresswoman from another state. Have you heard of her?
No, I want to say no.
Okay. All right. Now, she is a fairly attractive woman. Okay. Would you say that a member of Congress having an affair with multiple staffers while married is newsworthy? Keep in mind that there are ethical issues with sleeping with your staff in Congress, which can get you in really big trouble.
I mean,
it's a news story, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Because we're not just talking about mature adults can do whatever. No, if you're sleeping with your staffers or your interns, it's a huge ethical problem in Congress.
It was news for Bill Clinton. So
it's news for all sorts of members of Congress on both sides of the aisle, in particular Republicans who have been thrown out of Congress by their own party for doing it. So it's a big story if you have a member of Congress having multiple, not one, multiple affairs with multiple people. And as a result, there was a dissolution of her marriage. Okay. So
let's now, according to the reports, her husband and her participated in trysts with at least one of these staffers. So there was a threesome involved, but nonetheless, affairs continued with other individuals, which ultimately led the husband to not want to be around anymore. Okay. So now again, she's a Democrat. So the news maybe doesn't want to cover that all that much. Oh, and she's really attractive. So maybe the news is like, women power and all that stuff. All right. Now, so that should be big news, but the news is not covering it. Okay. Joe, would you say that a member of Congress having a photograph of them naked, brushing the hair of said staffer they were having an affair with, was published, that might be big news? And I'm talking, I can see all of her tops.
Yeah.
That's news, right? A member of Congress getting caught in a naked photograph brushing the hair of a staffer whom they pay for with your money while engaging in a sexual relationship with that staffer while married is certainly a big story for multiple reasons. One, you just have the element that there's a member of Congress who is now naked all over the internet and is having an affair with more than one staffer, and that has caused the breakup of her marriage. That's a big story, okay? But she's also on several committees which could get information that say maybe the Chinese and the Russian might be interested in. Now, if you have members of Congress doing things that make them susceptible to blackmail, we've got an issue. And that is the case with Katie Hill, who again is a prominent Democrat congresswoman. Hill allegedly had a prolonged sexual relationship with a young female staffer. As the story goes, Hill and her now estranged husband were involved in a throuple relationship with the 22-year-old staffer. I've never heard of that. A throuple? It's like a couple but with three people. So
they were
it's
in a
like
polyamorous relationship.
Yeah, it's like this is throuple, whatever.
Open
I don't know.
relationship. Take your pick.
Yeah,
there were multiple people
they had
in this relationship.
Lots of menage a trois over an extended period of time. So they were in. Was it polyamorous? Is that
polyamorous?
It? Yeah, polyamorous relationship
is the PC term.
What's the not polyamorous? What's the other one? Because I always get those two confused. But it sounds like that. But it's not polyamorous. Okay, never mind.
I don't know off the top of my head.
Google Fiends, you can look that up as long as you're not at work. I recommend you not look any of this up at work because Congresswoman Katie Hill's nude photos are all over this story. So anyway, they had this ongoing relationship with this 22-year-old staffer who was just out of college when she began working with and allegedly dating the Congresswoman. Making the whole thing even stranger and more salacious, various photos have surfaced, including one that appears to show a nude Hill brushing the hair of a young woman, presumably the staffer. Now, I want you to understand something. This photo is not grainy or from a distance. This is very up close and personal. And if that is not Katie Hill in that photo, she has an exact twin. And I'm not talking about somebody who could be, maybe not be. I'm talking an exact twin. She has a couple of features on her face that make her very distinct. Again, she's an attractive woman, don't get me wrong, but she's got a very distinctive nose and mouth. So if that is not her in that photo, that is either the best deep fake that I have ever seen, or she has an exact twin who also happened to pose naked brushing a female. Okay? Let's see. They also have text messages between the woman and Congresswoman Hill, in which Hill explained why she wanted to end the relationship. She appears to admit in the exchange that part of the reason is the political risk. Hill and her husband allegedly became estranged after the revelation of another alleged affair with a different member of her staff. Hill was supposedly sexually involved with her finance director, even while she was in a relationship with the 22-year-old staffer. So Hill is allegedly carrying on at least 3 sexual relationships that we know of, and I'm including the husband in that, in spite of the fact that she may or may not have been sleeping with the husband. Now, is any of this relevant to the public, or is it all just fit for the tabloids? No, this is the Daily Wire that I'm reading from, by the way. No, this is a big deal. First of all, it's a news story, okay? Because you got a member of Congress who's having, multiple extramarital affairs, okay? And as I have said before, One Senator John Ensign, the senator from Nevada, who was supposed to have been a presidential candidate in 2018, or earlier, I should say, was a rising star, considered one of the big rising stars in the Republican Party. He is definitely, not 2018, sorry, you know what I mean, 2016. He was run out of Congress because it was discovered that he had an affair with a woman that had been over for many years. His wife had known about. They had reconciled over, and the affair only happened after they had separated from one another. Okay. Now, I'm not excusing it or anything like that. People have different moralistic views on whether or not you're allowed to engage in that behavior if you have an official separation or anything of that nature. The point is, the wife knew about it. It wasn't secret. They had reconciled over it and everything else. The reason it was discovered is the female who he had a relationship with, the husband tried to blackmail him. And he said, "You're not going to blackmail me. I'm going to tell everybody about it." And guess what? He got run out of Congress and resigned. It was considered a front runner to be president of the United States. We are not talking about a podunk senator that nobody has ever heard of. We're talking about John freaking Ensign. Okay. Now, many of you may not know who he is, but at the time, he was a very big deal. It's almost like a Chuck Schumer going down. All right. That's how big it was. And he resigned simply because he had a relationship that had been over for years. His wife knew about, they had reconciled over, and simply because somebody was trying to blackmail him. Now, keep in mind, the liberal groups didn't care that somebody was illegally trying to blackmail a U.S. senator, which is a huge federal crime. They didn't care about that. They only cared about him having the affair and the allegation that he may have offered this guy a job to make it all go away. Okay. People have been run out of Congress for this. They've been run out of the Senate for this. They've been run out of politics altogether for this. In fact, 1/3 of this. And I'm not even counting the naked photos of an elected member of Congress, which I'm sure a lot of foreign governments would love to have. If you're a member of Congress and you're running around taking naked photos of yourself, you had better be okay with telling the public that you got naked photos of yourself out there. Because if you're not, you are susceptible to blackmail from foreign governments, which of course impacts our domestic and foreign policy critically. This is a big deal. So I ask you, again, why is it that a young, attractive, Democratic woman who has been doing all of these things is not a lead story on every news outlet in the United States of America, considering this is the biggest story going on today? Because she's a Democrat and she's a woman. Point blank. That's why. They don't want to amplify this. This is a big deal. Now, for the record, I don't care what she does in her own bedroom. It appears that her husband was A-okay with all of this. But there are serious, serious risks to a member of Congress engaging in this type of behavior. And if they get caught doing this sort of thing, it should be a very big story. It shouldn't be the end-all, be-all, don't get me wrong, but this is a relatively slow news day, and this is a very big deal. But the news is choosing not to cover it. Very interesting. More coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
On your radio at 95.3 FM.
Polygamy? No. I'm not thinking of polygamy. I'm thinking of, I think that's it.
That's where a woman has multiple husbands. It's the opposite of polygamy.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
Polyandry is just like the gender neutral.
It doesn't have to be husbands, though, right? It can just be she has multiple partners.
Polyandry is defined as where a woman has multiple husbands.
Okay. I'm thinking of the one where one of them can have multiple partners, but the other one cannot. But not necessarily marriage.
I do not.
Who the hell knows? I don't need to look it up. Dude. What did you say her name was again, Casey? There's naked photos of this attractive member of Congress, you said? You know what's going on. You know it.
I mean, at this point, she can't be blackmailed. It's already...
No, she can now because it got leaked. But it got leaked. She didn't put it out there.
Well, it's out there now.
It's out there now.
There's no point in trying to
correct.
It for it. It's already out there.
Right. Now, But last week, again, she's on several critical committees. You know, that's problem. Now, maybe she's A-okay with the nude photos coming out, and she's like, yeah, whatever, I don't care. But that's a big deal. And if nothing else, it raises the question that should be asked by the press. Should she be in these committee appointments if the possibility of her being controlled or threatened or something of that nature is going on? And that, yeah, so Tucker's got it, and a couple of people have it, but it should be a lead story across the spectrum. Okay, that's what
it's like the non-monogamous multi-partner relationships or non-exclusive romantic or sexual relationships.
Got it.
Which can refer to any one of them.
Right. Yeah, and Susie, I know it's over social media, but that doesn't count. The point is the press should be covering it extensively, and they're not. Oh, the staffer said something about a toxic relationship? Yeah.
She tried to blow smoke rings with absolutely not succeeding because there was just a ball of smoke coming out of her mouth.
I thought she just had just the ball.
Yeah. Like, if you're trying to blow smoke rings, you're doing a very bad job.
You know, when I was 10 and smoked cigarettes, I used to be able to blow rings under the pool, make them come up in a bubble.
That's nice.
I was talented.
Mm-hmm.
I was pre-vape, fools. That's when you had to do it like a man. Underwater.
Uh-huh.
I'm so lucky I didn't get addicted to cigarettes. Oh my God. So lucky.
Does the lighting in my facility create a safe working environment for my staff? One call does it all. 574-522-4444. From plant wiring, service upgrades, energy efficient lighting, and commercial solutions for every industry. Let us take the guesswork out of your project and help you sleep easy. Find us on Facebook or visit finalphaseelectric.net.
Oh, staffer felt abused. Okay.
Hi, this is Dr. Roger Pacino. Did you know that Afton is Michiana's most referred dental?
Well, believe all women, including women accusing other women. God, 11 minutes ago?
Wait, what?
Alex posted the article that came out 11 minutes ago.
Imagine what that means for you. That's right. If
for
they
it.
love their job, it means better care for you and your family. That's what patient-friendly dentistry.
Jennifer Van Laar is with Red State, who wrote about this Friday. That's when the story broke.
To do everything all at once. We'll do everything possible to ensure you get exceptional care, detailed explanations, and comfortable financial options. Why not schedule a no-cost exam at Afton on Douglas Road in Mishawaka, Michiana's most referred dental provider? Call today at 277-2220 or visit our website at afnet.com.
Now, of course, this is, I guess, the question. Did this young 22-year-old staffer who just graduated from college, and this is essentially her first job, did she feel like she was required to fulfill the sexual needs and desires of the congresswoman because the congresswoman had power over her, as we hear numerous times about men in power? They were a powerful man, therefore I had to have sex with them.
Has the performance you expect from a luxury paint at a price you didn't. Platinum Plus is up to 50% more washable and stain resistant than a leading premium paint in satin sheen. Superiority ranges from 24 to 50% depending on sheen selected. Platinum Plus keeps your walls looking new longer. Menards and Dutch Boy Paint have you covered. Go ahead, live your life.
Get 11% off everything now at Menards. Savings are a mail-in rebate. See store for details.
You got to understand, this is the same Congress that will not release the information on the members of Congress who have been accused of sexually abusing staff with the settlement money, too. Remember? So this same Congress has kept those people. Now, here's the thing. Is Congresswoman Hill one of those people who's had to pay those settlements with taxpayer dollars to keep people quiet about sexual harassment and or abuse? Because people need to know about that stuff.
Mishawaka Family Insurance.
Huh?
Mishawaka Family.
Yep.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Mishawaka's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. I got to tell you about Mishawaka Family Insurance. I know that Mark just told you about them, but I'm going to tell you about them better than he did. So Mishawaka Family Insurance is, first of all, they have your car insurance, your life insurance. They can do your commercial insurance for those of you who have businesses. And I know how difficult that can be. Man, finding commercial insurance is a pain in the neck. First of all, a lot of it's really expensive. And when you're in industry like I am, it can be very difficult to find a company that will give you good insurance at a good rate. And so it's always nice if you can find somebody, especially locally, who knows the economy, knows the business model, knows how things are working here to be able to give you that quote and handle your insurance for you. But, you know, renter's insurance and all of that stuff. So it really is a full service insurance company. They are phenomenal and they're super nice over there as well. So if you go to MishawakaFamilyInsurance.com, you can go and take a look at all the products that they have. Of course, you can get recommendations and you can give them a call. And you can give them a call at 231-1500. Again, 231-1500. And you can get a quote right then and there. Whether it's over the phone or you go in. What I was impressed with Mishawaka Family Insurance is that they asked a lot of questions. And I know that seems like that might be a given for insurance, but if you've shopped for insurance as much as I have, you realize that you're generally not asked all that much. A couple of the questions that you get. What type of insurance do you want? How much do you want covered? And then how much do you want to spend if something goes wrong? That's it. You don't get the extra questions that you get from Mishawaka Family Insurance, which can impact your insurance policy dramatically. And of course, if you have an insurance policy that is tailored to your specific needs, you can not only save a lot of money, but you get better coverage. So when something does go wrong, you are better covered. And I know that I've wasted time going online, shopping online, buying the package deals because it was the quickest, easiest thing to do. But you end up paying in the long run. Mishawaka Family Insurance is here for you to make sure you don't make that mistake. And if something does go wrong, you don't have to deal with some centralized corporate office that probably routes your call center to another country in the middle of the night when you actually need them. You can call Mishawaka Family Insurance up. Somebody will be there and answer the phone. So again, visit them online, MishawakaFamilyInsurance.com, or give them a call at 574-231-1500, and please let them know that I sent you. All right, 574-25-95-95-3. This, the listeners on the live stream have pointed out that there's a new article from Ryan Saavedra over at the Daily Wire. It's about 12, 13 minutes old. Katie Hill's sex scandal worsens. Staffer felt abused in, quote, toxic relationship. And now there are questions about consent that are showing up. And I just want to run through something here. How many times have we heard that women can be sexually abused, women can be sexually assaulted, it can be considered rape and that sort of thing, even if they said yes, because there was a man and he was in a position of power? All right, well, put yourself in the position of a 22-year-old woman who just graduated college and now works for a powerful congresswoman. And this congresswoman wants your goodies and wants you to share your goodies not only with her, but her husband. Do you feel like you are obligated? Does the same scenario play out here with a woman in charge versus a man in charge? Can you say that this young lady was in fact being compelled to sleep with the congresswoman and her husband simply because the congresswoman is a very powerful figure in the United States of America and in government? I would assume if you're going to apply the standards correctly and equally, and I know that is laughable because we don't apply those standards equally in the United States because of politics and narratives and things like that. But if you were to apply them equally, you would have to say, yes, this 22-year-old woman clearly had no choice but to sleep with the congresswoman, if we're going to say that about every young woman who was in a relationship that they now regrets involving a powerful male. It would have to be the same thing, right? We are talking about a powerful member of Congress, after all. Let's see. In the age of Me Too, activists contend that when a larger power imbalance exists, such as between a CEO and an employee, the employee is incapable of giving consent. Even assuming that true consent existed at the beginning of the relationship, the power imbalance could keep an employee in a bad relationship for fear that they will lose their job or suffer other negative consequences. In the case of the Hill throuple, text messages between Kenny Heslop, Hill's husband, and Hill's staffer from June of 2019 depict an unhealthy, toxic relationship. Heslop even characterizes the way in which he and Hill treated the staffer as, quote, abusive, and he apologizes for hurting her in the text messages. Oh, that's not good. Will the Democratic leadership, will they step up like the Republican leadership in the state of Indiana did against the Attorney General Curtis Hill? Will the Democratic leadership in Washington, D.C. step up and say that Congresswoman Hill needs to resign because she was in a sexually abusive relationship with one, perhaps two staffers? Especially since we have text messages of her husband admitting to being abusive towards this young woman. Don't hold your breath, but of course they should, if they wanted to be consistent. I do want to remind everybody that this is the same Congress, the same Democrat and Republican leadership that did not allow the public to know that they were using taxpayer dollars to pay off staffers who had accused members of Congress of sexual impropriety. And they have kept that list secret from the public in spite of the fact that I think most voters would want to know if their elected representative was sexually abusing staffers to the tune of having to pay out money to keep them quiet. That might affect the re-election campaign, don't you think? So don't hold your breath that those same people who will not release that list are not going to hold Congresswoman Hill to the same standards that they would hold any Republican. You got more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
This is Michiana's breaking news and weather station.
Hey, it's Summer Horn again.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Her hair looks nice today.
State Health Commissioner Dr. Chris Fox said in a release Tuesday that the person's death is a tragic reminder that we should never underestimate how serious the flu can be. No specific announcement was made about the victim's age or gender, but the death happened in Marion County. Fox said vaccination is the best defense against the flu, and CDC guidelines recommend a vaccine.
In case you're interested, speaking of the flu, people will be here between 1 and 2 tomorrow.
Right. Oh, Maya will kill me because she'll yell at me because she works in a hospital and she wants to make sure my immune system is protected as possible.
Cool.
Not really.
You should probably ask her why it is that it would be protected from last year's flu and not this year's flu. You are married. You did get married. I don't want to get in an argument with my girlfriend. He's so married. Remember yesterday you had the Freudian slip that he got married. My wife. Yep, you're married. He eloped. He just didn't tell anybody about it. He's already caving like he's been married 20 years. Look at that. Fine, I'll get a damn flu shot. Leave me the hell alone.
With American troops now out of northern Syria, Turkey is the time.
Did you just kill her?
We are going to see in about 6 days' time our joint patrol.
That's why she said the time. It sounded like the time.
Joe.
Working together,
So did you only cut her off a little, or did you kill her in the middle of the
I think she was about to, like after that, that last story, and then she
Old Joe's just abusing women all over the place today. Good Lord.
Leopard print.
Yeah, she's in a leopard print, which is an unfortunate fashion choice, but her hair looks nice.
Crimes that should be held accountable by the United States Congress and by
I think leopard print is still in fashion.
It's not. In fact, in a recent list of things that guys hate about women's fashion, on the list of top 10 worst things that guys hate about women's fashion, leopard print was on there. I have always hated it, and I don't know that I know any guys that like it. I'm sure there's one or two, but leopard print is like a total chick thing. Like, I'm a cat, man, but I don't know any guys who like leopard print or zebra print or any other animal print at all, like snake too.
Snake print?
Yeah, like, snake pattern clothes and stuff like that. They're not real popular now, but they were really popular in the 90s. Especially like the white snake pattern. It's all gross looking.
When we say food with attitude, what we mean is the finest American-style tapas food in Mishawaka, surrounded by a craft beer, fine wine, champagne, and dessert list that is as unique and seasonal as our menu. At Temper Grill, Chef Sean works with the finest ingredients to deliver you an unmatched dining experience that changes every week to fit the time of the year and his mood, while always satisfying your taste buds. Visit Tuesday nights for half-price wine bottles, Wednesday for
one of my
night. Visit Thursday
one of the people I graduated
Roman's ridiculous list. Or upcoming
Is what?
One of the people I graduated with just got arrested.
Temper Grill, with a perfect backdrop.
Oh, I think I saw that story. Yep.
Explore our menu. Buy gift cards.
Graduated.
A simple dinner reservation at tempergranger.com.
Can't say I'm surprised.
A coworker that we have, I won't say who, their kid was dating another guy a couple years ago, and I remember them saying specifically that they wanted their kid to stop dating this guy, and he just got arrested for robbery. At least their kid got away from him. So. Kid got into Purdue.
Well, good for him.
Got into Purdue and then robbed a place.
What happened?
It's not easy to get into Purdue. So there's some brains there, just apparently not full time, just part-time brain. Apparently at Purdue, you only need a brain half the time.
Well, I mean, it's Purdue. It's one of the more popular party schools.
Hey, Susie, animal prints are never on trend. Okay, women create this crap. Here's the deal: men should dress women, women should dress men. Okay. Otherwise, your fashion don't mean jack. I know I dress like crap, but I don't dress to impress anybody else. I'm already married and lost, okay? I don't need to be presentable to anybody, except once a year when I put on a damn suit. So, and even then, it's like a half-assed effort, right? So, women do not get to dictate what women look good in, because you're terrible at it. You're horrible at it. You invented capris, okay? Right there, you veto your entire argument for being able to say what looks attractive on women. You can't do it. Can't do it.
12 months, no payments, no interest.
Message and data rates may apply. Please do not text and drive. See purple.com for terms and conditions.
Women keep trying to bring back bell bottoms too.
There is a reason why a lot of them morph. A lot of the really popular, famous fashion artists are men.
On a slip and slide? Sweating the bed is a serious.
Yeah, but does the gay thing throw off their fashion sense, or does it help? I don't know, man.
Fortunately, there is a cure. It's called purple.
I'm not crazed. I'm just saying, you women, 98% of the crap you wear looks like butt. And you think you look good, but you don't. And guys keep telling women what to do to look attractive, and guess who keeps not listening? The women. Guys, you don't have to be super stick thin. Women, I have to be super stick thin. Guys, please don't wear too much makeup. Women, takes 2 hours to put on pounds of makeup. Guys, please don't wear capris. Women, wears capris. Guys, please don't wear animal print. Women, wears animal print. Promotes animal print on live stream, telling women that animal print looks awful. I'm just saying. Now, guys get weird about high heels sometimes, okay? And I appreciate why women don't like wearing high heels. But a lot of guys like the way the high heels make your legs look. I don't really care, but a lot of guys do. So, I'm just telling you. Guys' fashion has remained relatively constant. And you'll notice the stuff that women look good in has remained relatively constant, too. If women look like they're from the 1950s, guess what? Guys think they look nice. I'm just saying. I'm just throwing it out there.
I learned about robotic surgery at St. Joe. With a simple outpatient procedure, I was
Yeah, most guys are not fans of leggings. They're just not. I do know a lot of guys like yoga pants on the proper figure, but most guys I know don't like leggings. I can appreciate why women wear them. I think it provides a good medium between nylons and nothing, but
Industrial and commercial electrical done right. This is Casey Hendrickson.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number 574-25-95-95.3. That is 25-95-953. Let's see here. Muslim kids hockey coach says that a parent sent him an unnerving and racist message. Again, Muslim is not a race. Just want to throw that out there. Except reports have surfaced insisting that the coach's claims do not add up. Talha Javad, 23 years old, told Yahoo Sports Canada that he was taken aback by a message which reportedly came from a parent named Chase. Can't trust anybody named Chase. Was it Chase that I wrote but had a whole moto vlog on? Like, I hate everybody named Chase. I don't know. I got to look at that up. I can't forget. No, Carter. I hate everybody named Carter. That's it. There's this kid named Carter in my daughter's class, and she likes him. Anyway, a portion of the alleged message read, "I don't want to make this into an issue and really hope that you would consider resigning and not coaching hockey. It goes against tradition, and I'm sure there are those others who feel the same way. I really don't want to pull my son from the team either, but would have to think about that if you're the coach." Chase, allegedly, also insisted that he was concerned about the possible effect that Javad would have on the man's son. Javad told the outlet that he and a friend often travel from his home in Windsor, Ontario, Canada, to East Lansing, Michigan, to provide free clinics for young players aged 5 to 8 years old. The problem is, the story has started to fall apart. Javad reportedly told Yahoo Sports Reporter that he was holding the clinic at an ice skating rink in East Lansing, Michigan. According to WILX TV, Javad has never held a skating or hockey clinic there, and employees at Suburban Ice say that they've never even heard of this person before. WILX decided to visit the ice rinks all across the East Lansing region, and the response was much the same. Nobody had ever heard of this person or any free clinic in the area. So the story has started to collapse. We appear to have another fake hate scandal that the media ate up and gobbled up, more so than Congresswoman Hill gobbled up her interns. We got more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Casey Hendrickson.
News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
I know they were staffers, not interns, but the interns thing sounded so much better. It just did. It sounded better.
Breakfast, lunch, or dinner? Just call the Prime Table to reserve tables for your next gathering.
Now, your home comfort experts, heating specialists.
I haven't looked. Are women still complaining about what they think looks good but doesn't look good? Here's where the whole lie, I wear this for me and not for you. Okay. If you say so. I know the women who dress for themselves and not for other people. You can find them all at Walmart after 10 p.m. Everybody else dresses to look good for other people. Everybody. All right, let's hop into Facebook or YouTube and see what lies we have. Now, I will say this, okay? While I appreciate leggings are not pants. They're not. Even if you are a dime, you should not be wearing leggings as pants. Did you see that picture of that teacher who wore leggings as pants? This is a couple of years ago, went viral. Well, she bent over to help a student, and the student behind her took a picture because you can see her thong panties clear as day through her leggings, which were stretched out. You can see all the way through them, as leggings tend to do. So, yeah, this is why you don't wear leggings as pants. Now, I'm sure that student was pretty happy because she did look really, really good. Clearly took care of herself, but Still.
An authentic Irish-themed wedding, complete with bangers and mash and Guinness martinis, my favorite. We even prepared goat for an authentic African wedding. We built a reputation on the promise, anything, anywhere, anytime. That means if your event calls for something unique, we can make it happen. Wedding receptions, corporate events, holiday parties, reunions, celebrations of life, and private parties of all types. Allie's has local venues to ensure
Bruno's.
special and perfect. Check out our full catering menu at alliescafe.com or ask your server when you stop in for breakfast or lunch.
I'm staring at pictures of wood-fired pizza at Bruno's per Bacco. There's 3 of them in there, and wouldn't you know it, their wood-fired pizza oven has wood and fire in it.
Also have a dolphin chatter excitedly.
They look yummy.
Perfect candidate. Okay, there's no dolphin, but skills tests, that's a for sure.
They've got. Okay, Bruno's is established. So you know how we did the Trump wine thing over at Antonio's? Bruno is Paul over at Antonio's brother. They've got a video of the Trump wines on their page. Like, that's pretty risky, but they did it. Like, hey, we got Trump wines over there, which are actually really good. They're mostly budget wines, but the Trump wines are actually really good wines. So good value for the flavor, if you ask me, as a non-wine connoisseur. Ooh, that whiskey sour looks good. Oh man, on the 16th they had rack of lamb. It's like one of my all-time favorite dishes. Pistachio crusted rack of lamb, dude. That sounds good. All right, here we go.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. Today's Tuesday, and I know that a lot of you are probably hungry. You're on your way home, or you're just getting home, and you don't want to cook. You don't really know what to do. Maybe you've got kids. Well, what do kids like to eat all the time? Joe, any idea what kids like to eat all the time?
They like eating chicken nuggets all the time.
Not necessarily. My kids are kind of like half on, half off with that.
All the kids in my house love chicken nuggets.
There is one thing that my kids will eat day in, day out, every single day.
What's that?
And that is wood-fired pizza from Bruno's per Bacco.
That sounds really good.
No, they'll eat pizza. I mean, all day, every day. It never stops.
Because your kids are smart.
We had so we had a parent-teacher conference yesterday.
Right.
And so I had to leave here right away, go to that. On the way home, my daughter was like, dang it, I should have told you to get pizza. I was like, maybe tomorrow. Today's Tuesday, which means at Bruno's per Bacco in Elkhart, County Road 16, it is 50% off. Half off. Wood-fired pizza. I'm staring at a picture of 3 pizzas in an oven. And wouldn't you know their wood-fired pizzas have wood and fire in the oven? Yeah, I know. You can get it for half off today at Bruno's per Bacco. Again, go to brunosperbacco.com. Take a look at the entire menu. I'm a little upset because I was scrolling back through some pictures, and on the 16th, they had pistachio-crusted rack of lamb. Rack of lamb's like one of my all-time favorite dishes, and I missed it. So hopefully they will have that coming back. But again, today, it's all about the pizza over at per Bacco. 50% off pizza at Bruno's per Bacco in Elkhart. Of course, when you're there, please let them know that I sent you. That way I get credit for sending you all over there. Again, big plate Italian food, Bruno's per Bacco, where size matters. Do you know they did so? Okay, I have to tell you, they weren't allowed to use that on another.
I remember
why? That's hysterical. That is a great line. You get large portions. Size matters, especially with family style Italian food. Why would you tell them they couldn't do that? It's shameful. Of course, you should allow them to do that. That's why we're going to do it. So, because we love them over there. They're fantastic. The food's amazing, by the way. Near perfect scores on their Facebook ratings and their Google ratings. Near perfect scores. People love them over there at per Bacco. All right, ladies and gentlemen, follow me online, youtube.com/CaseyTheHost or twitch.tv/CaseyTheHost. Of course, at Casey the Host on Facebook and Parler And if you want to follow me on Instagram for knives, holsters, etc., it's at ASD Knives. Here is Bill O'Reilly with the O'Reilly Update.
Size does matter. Ask Congresswoman Hill. Should have said.
You don't know if she.
I should have said that. Okay, but see, here's the thing. It doesn't necessarily mean bigger is better. Size does matter. It doesn't denote what size matters. Okay. We don't know. We obviously know she likes the ladies. So there is that. She does like them ladies. So we have heard and seen. You know what, Alex? It did feel like it was a really fast show today, didn't it?
Well, that happens when we're missing like a half hour.
That's true. I was expecting it to be a long show because my allergies seriously are going friggin' bonkers right now.
Freaking cold.
It's a little nipply in here. Yeah. That's what Congresswoman Hill said. Sorry. The jokes are going to keep coming, folks. It's going to be inappropriate, and I apologize. Let's see. Hey, look, I mean, I wrote a whole article defending cargo pants and shorts a couple of years ago, okay? That's just it. Because women were trying to tell men you can't wear them. And you know what my response was?
They're jealous of the pockets.
Well, there was that, but I also said, here's the deal. I will concede that you get to tell us to stop wearing cargo shorts if you abandon all of your fashion trends, period, and let men dictate them. And so then I was like, every time I saw that stupid article, because women were sharing that like mad, I had to comment under every single one that I saw. It's like, nope, we don't wear this for you. We wear this for us. Because that's the whole thing. I leave my house with my boobs pushed up and pushed together and spilling out of my blouse, but I don't do it for you. Okay, if you say so, ladies. I suppose you don't wear blush and lipstick, which are designed to simulate what, Joe? Sexual arousal, yes. I'm sure you don't wear makeup that simulates sexual arousal to go ahead and attract your desired sexual partners, even if you're unavailable. Sure you don't. And men don't wear suits that broaden the shoulders and thin out the waist and things like that because they want women to notice them. All right, I got to bounce out, ladies and gentlemen. I have got a Costco trip to get to. And if I run into you at Costco, say hello. I will be alone, and I run into listeners at Costco literally every damn time that I am over there.
You always go, hey, I'm going to Costco. So they go there and go, hey.
I don't, but it's, yeah, that's why if they run into me, it'll be just totally fine. I had somebody one time recognize me from like 2 aisles over because I was talking to my daughter. He was like, I know that voice. My wife was like, what the hell? Yeah, but Christian Dior and Louis Vuitton, they all look like butt. Sorry. The only Christian Dior thing that I liked was when Charlize Theron did that commercial for them a couple of years ago. That was a damn good commercial. Of course, it's Charlize Theron. And let's be honest, she can be 70 years old and she will still be gorgeous. All right, I got to bounce, ladies and gentlemen. I do appreciate it. I do have to do a shopping trip and get some meat, much like Congresswoman Hill. And I will see you all.